our home and native land. True patriot love in all command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see the dawn's early light? What so bright we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reflecting in the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say did that star-spangled banner yet wave, were the land of and the brave.
What an absolute. Welcome, race fans all over, as it is time for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Mission 176 at the Glen, Watkins Glen International 2.45 mile road course. This is the third road course race, or second road course race, I should say, of the schedule for this season for the Truck Series. It is the second of three, the last of the regular season, and it's the penultimate race of the regular season. We have just two more races left to get into the playoffs this weekend, and then next week in the regular season finale at Richmond. We have a stacked field for today's race. Should be a lot of fun bringing you the action here this evening. We do not have a very long race, 72 laps. Is not a long length here at Watkins Glen. I will say it's longer for the Truck Series, but we did run 100 laps at Lime Rock Park, though that was a mile and a half road course last month. Corey Heim led 99 of 100 laps in that race, so you would think, well, Corey Heim should be the favorite to win tonight's race. And while he may be, it is a very competitive field, as I mentioned already. Christopher Bell going to be driving for the injured Stuart Friesen in the 52 truck. He put his truck on the front row along with Corey Heim for this race. Heim is the pole sitter. But then we've got guys like Ross Chastain who are in the field yet again for Nice Motorsports today. Kyle Busch is back in the 07. I believe this is his final start of the season for the Craftsman Truck Series. Connor Zilich is going to be making his first truck start of the season in 2025. He won the Xfinity race here a season ago, and obviously a huge threat for the Xfinity Series whenever they go to road courses. He's pulling triple duty this weekend, actually running the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup races at Watkins Glen. Parker Kligerman is in this race today, and while you'll think, well, there's a lot of other guys out there, why do you say Parker Kligerman? Kligerman won in his last road course start in the Truck Series in Mid-Ohio a couple of years ago. He's been phenomenal on the road courses through the Truck and Xfinity Series in recent years, so I'm sure he could be a threat for the race win today. Chris Buescher is in the 66 for Thor Sport Racing. He won the Cup race at Watkins Glen last season, so again, it is a very stacked field here today. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to bring you the action over the course of these 72 laps. And we'll go through the starting lineup for the rest of the field outside of those that I just mentioned. I already did mention that on the front row for this one, Corey Heim and Christopher Bell. Heim is the pole sitter, trying to go for 2 road course wins on the season. He's got 5 race wins in the Truck Series so far this year, looking for number 6 in what is only race number 17. Christopher Bell, again, filling in for the injured Stuart Friesen. While if you go on NASCAR.com, they have the playoff format, or the playoff standings, I should say, for if Friesen were to run every race, because technically he hasn't missed a race yet, but he is going to be out for the rest of the season due to a dirt car crash from just over a week ago. Well wishes obviously are with him. Caden Honeycutt will be taking over the 52 truck following this week. He is moving to the O2 for Young Motorsports, I believe, this weekend. Honeycutt comes in pretty well above the cutoff line on points, with Friesen missing the rest of the year. We would have had 7 different drivers that were locked in with a win, but because Friesen is done, we now only have 6 drivers locked in with wins on the season. Now, for the owner's playoff side of things, the 52 truck is in. So he is allowed to, Caden Honeycutt, that is, not only if he qualifies for the driver playoffs, which so far he's well above the cut line, so it would take pretty miraculous fate for him not to make it. He also would be trying to get the 52 team and owner's title along with it. So awesome to see, because that team has obviously worked really hard to get themselves into the position that they are in right now, top 10 in points. All right, again, back to the starting lineup. I got off on a tangent there because Christopher Bell taking over for the 52 ride this weekend. Again, Heim and Bell on the front row. Row number 2 will be the Spire Motorsport trucks of Sammy Smith, who obviously is a full-time regular in the Xfinity Series, making another truck start today, and Andres Perez, the rookie. Gio Ruggiero and Lane Riggs will make up row 2. Riggs 2 wins this season. He finished runner-up at Lime Rock on the road course race there earlier in the spring. Ross Chastain and Chandler Smith will make up row number 4. Smith 2 wins on the season. Chastain has not won a truck race yet this year, despite being in a handful of them. Again, he's in the 44 for Nice Motorsports today. And row 5 will be Ben Rhodes and Connor Mosack. Rhodes now the first driver below the cutoff line behind his teammate Jake Garcia with the injured Friesen out. So we will see if Rhodes can try to make his way into the playoffs. It was looking like he was in a must-win situation. Now all of a sudden, he can point his way in. He's only 18 back. Connor Mosack making up row number 5, had a top 5 at Lime Rock Park, his best run of the season, so should be a strong competitor for a good finish today. Kyle Busch didn't do so hot in his last truck start at Nashville in the 07, but he does have a truck win this season at Atlanta. He makes up the inside of row 6, Tanner Gray, who is not having that great of a season so far. He's below the cutoff line, probably still in a must-win situation, even with the Friesen injury. We'll see how he does today. In row 7 will be Tyler Ankerman, Connor Zilic. Again, first truck start for Zilic this season. He's only got a few of them in his career, all on road courses. He ran the Coda race last season, was his debut. Started on the pole in that one. Today, starting outside the top 10, so curious to see how he does. Jake Garcia, William Sawalich will make up row number 8. Again, Garcia comes in the last driver above the playoff cut line. Daniel Hemrick, Parker Kligerman. I mentioned Kligerman in the 75. Same truck he actually did win at Mid-Ohio with a couple seasons ago. And they will make up row 9. And row 10 will be Brent Cruz. He was back running part-time in the Truck Series this season along with Raja Karuth. Chris Buescher, another one of those many Cup regulars in the field today, along with Dawson Sutton. Jack Wood, Matt Crafton make up row 12. Row 13 for Matt Mills, Timmy Hill. William Lombros and Tony Breidinger in row 14. Row 15 will be Wesley Slimp and Spencer Boyd. Derek White, Grant Enfinger will start deep in the field in row 16. Same for Ty Majeski, defending champion, back on the inside of row 17, along with Frankie Muniz, the rookie. Caden Honeycutt and Gian Buffelmont, I hopefully said his name correctly, is going to round out the field. Row 18, 36 truck entry list for this weekend. That was the first I saw that name all weekend, was in the midst of reading it live there. Gian Buffelmont. Hopefully I said that correctly. It's probably Buffelmonte, now that I'm looking at it a third time. Probably Buffelmonte. I'm going to go with that. And if that's not correct, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Driving the 22 truck, Austin Wayne Self's team for today. Bam Hall, Terry Lewis, thanks for tuning in. Marcus Villarreal, Joe Rochester, and many others, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Our like goal will be 50 for today's stream. We're at 14 already, and you can vote for who you think is going to win today's truck race at the Glen. Stacked field. Stacked, stacked, stacked. 39% of you taking Kyle Busch for the win. Interesting. 33% of Connor Zilic. Both drivers start outside the top 10. Heim on the pole at 11%. 17% for somebody other than those three. I'm going to take Corey Heim for the race win today. Give me Heim time. It's a stacked field. I think by way of speed, Christopher Bell might have something for him, but 99 of 100 laps led at Lime Rock, and the only lap he didn't lead was coming to the green on one of the restarts, I believe at the beginning of Stage 3. Riggs beat him to the start-finish line, but then Heim had it cleared out of Turn 1. It was a no contest. Season in review up to this point has Corey Heim with just over 1,000 laps led on the season in only 16 races. And again, these Truck Series races are not very long either. A lot of them, even on the short tracks, are about 200 laps or less. Crazy that he's led as many laps as he has. 39 playoff points on the year, and that's not counting the regular season championship points. He will get 15 for that. He did clinch the regular season title after the last race, so even though we got 2 races left in the regular season, again, Heim has already clinched the regular season championship as of the last race. Chandler Smith, who's second in points, Lane Riggs third, Daniel Hemrick fourth, Grant Enfinger fifth, can still fight amongst each other for second, as playoff points are awarded for the top 10 positions, and only 10 drivers make the playoffs in general. It'll be 1 point per position, kind of how the stages are laid out at the end of Stage 1 and Stage 2. Only difference is instead of 10 points, say for playoff side of things for the regular season title, if you win it, it's actually 15. So he's already at, 54 playoff points on the year, and he can still go for 14 more if he can win both stages and the race, both today and at Richmond next week. So the drivers locked into the Truck Series playoff field. Again, 5 wins for Corey Heim, most in the series, 2 apiece for the Front Row Motorsport Fords of Lane Riggs and Chandler Smith. Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Ankrum, Raja Caruth each have 1. Stuart Friesen has 1. Again, he will be out for the rest of the season, so he will not be participating in the playoffs. Again, you not only have to run every race, but because he's out, I would imagine he's going to forfeit the playoff spot. The owner's title, though, the 52 team would still be in there. So there's only 3 spots left for the owner's title. But for the driver standings, it is updated at the top of the screen. I'll have to go to a different page here so I can read you the updated points. I did the math myself because, again, NASCAR.com didn't have it updated. But Grant Enfinger would be 107 points to the good. Would have been 89 beforehand. It basically got shifted about 18 points with the cut line move. So plus 107 for Grant Enfinger, plus 91 for Caden Honeycutt, who again is in the O2 this week. Big news that he will be parting ways with Nice Motorsports for the rest of the season, despite the fact that he is 9th in the driver standings coming in, technically 8 with the 52 being gone. So he should make the playoffs. He is plus 89 above. The equipment he is in a lot less than that of what he has been in most of the year. But he will be stepping in the 52 truck at Richmond next week and then for the final 8 races of the season. So I think it's going to be big on just surviving today in that Young Motorsports race truck because, again, he is starting in the final row of the field. So he's going to have his work cut out for him. And he had a pretty solid run at Lime Rock, so he's a decent road course racer. Ty Majeski, who would have been the last driver above the cut line, gets moved up a bit more. He's plus 79, so in a much better spot. If we were to see an upset winner these next 2 weeks, he would still have a pretty marginal cushion over his teammate Jake Garcia. Now the cut line battle is a lot tougher. Jake Garcia is now in plus 18 over his teammate Ben Rhodes minus 18. I would give Rhodes the favorite there over Garcia. I just have more confidence that Rhodes is going to get better finishes. Garcia's out-qualified him all season, and scoring a lot of stage points is really the main reason he is above Rhodes to this point. Rhodes has come from a lot bigger deficit in points to get to where he's at right now. He's been clicking away good finishes the last several races. We'll see if he can do that again this weekend. Giro Ruggiero minus 40 in his rookie season at Tricon Garage. Tanner Gray minus 63 and minus 106 for Connor Mosak, who again did have a top 5 in the first road course race of the season at Lime Rock. So that is an update on the point standings and how things are shaping up coming into this weekend's race at Watkins Glen. Triple header. We got truck racing tonight, Xfinity tomorrow, and Cup on Sunday. I'm excited. This is my favorite road course, always has been. Even back in the day of growing up when there were only 2 road courses a year, Watkins, Glen, Sonoma. I definitely look forward to Watkins, Glen a lot more. We've seen a lot of great races here. Both races last season, Xfinity and Cup, were really good. And hopefully we have a good race here today as well. We have not seen the Truck Series at Watkins, Glen in several years. So a lot of these drivers have not made laps at this racetrack. Could definitely lead for a lot of pandemonium, if you will, especially on the restarts. I mean, I'd be shocked somebody gets turned going into turn 1 at some point in time in the final stage in particular, but not saying it's necessarily going to be somebody at the front of the pack, but I just see somebody get shuffled out of line, spun out wide. I believe they do have the rumble strips off the exit of turn 1 like they had added last season, which didn't really affect the drivers handling wise as much as I thought it was going to, but I don't think you're going to want to run as wide out of turn 1 compared to normal, because I would imagine those rumble strips are definitely going to degrade the tires a lot more. So doing that lap over lap over lap, probably not in your best interest. Silent Owl Scribe, welcome to the stream. Yeah, full weekend of racing for Watkins Glen indeed. Is Arca still running up here too? Because they usually do. It'd be awesome if all 4 series are up here. Watkins Glen's always had a great fan turnout. I mean, they sell out almost every year, year over year. And I expect to see a packed crowd again here this weekend. It's odd to have the Truck Series run on a Friday evening like this. It's the 3rd time we've seen them do that this year. They had a couple races last year where they did that. We actually have a couple more Friday afternoon races like this. Talladega, I believe, is supposed to be at 4 p.m. Eastern on that Friday weekend. And then the Charlotte Roval also is supposed to be a 5 p.m. Eastern start. It might be roles reverse. It might be 4 p.m. for the Roval and 5 at Talladega. But either way, there's still 2 more Friday afternoon races, and then there's a Thursday night race at Bristol coming up here in a few weeks as well. So, yeah, a lot of kind of weird times for the Truck Series if you count today for the remaining races on the schedule. After today's race, we have just 8 truck races left on the season. I mean, this season has really flown by, especially with the Truck Series not having as many races. They do have 2 more races this year than what they've had in recent years, expanding the schedule from 23 to 25. Just imagine we'd be starting the playoffs today if this was last season. But we are not. We got 2 more races to try to see who's going to qualify. For visual purposes, today's race is on Fox Sports 1, where every truck race has been on the Fox family of networks. FS1 for all but 2 races this season up to this point. Comment specifically in the chat, who do you have to win this race today? 2021, last race at Watkins Glen. Austin Hill won that race. Yep. Yes, sir. Pretty good one, too. Him and Todd Gillen battling it out for the finish. Closing laps. The Road Ringer probably going to win. Marcus Villarreal pulling for his usual Christopher Bell. I'd say of the Cup regulars, he's definitely the favorite. He showed a lot more promise in practice and qualifying. It just seems like Kyle Busch in the 07 truck this year has not put out the speed that the 7 truck has had. Not even just Busch. I mean, it seems like whoever seems to step into that 07 truck just not quite as quick as whoever's in the number 7 when it comes to the 2 Spire entries that usually have some star power. I believe Busch actually won at Talladega in the 7. Or sorry, not Talladega, at Atlanta in the 7, and then Carson Hocevar had a win in the 7 truck this season as well. When we've seen any of those guys in the 07, they really do struggle to get some top 10 runs. Jerry Marty, thanks for tuning in. He's got the 45. Yeah. Connor Zilich, definitely a good pick. Yeah, the field's so stacked, I didn't even know who to put in the driver pool. I only have 3 options available. So I put what I thought 3 drivers who are maybe more polarized. I do think Bell probably has a better shot to win than, say, a Kyle Busch today. probably put Heim, Bell 1, 2, and then Zilich 3. Because we've seen Zilich in the truck series, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like he gets as great of a handle even on the road courses and the trucks and what he does in Xfinity and Cup. A lot less seat time. I mean, he's probably had more Cup starts at this point, or just as many as what he's had in the truck series on road courses. And that probably fits his driving style a little bit more coming from the sports car ranks with the modern day next gen Cup car. Stage splits today will be 20 laps in both Stage 1 and Stage 2. Final stage, 32 laps. Stage 1 and Stage 2 is going to be 20 laps for all three series this weekend. And then the final stage is going to kind of fluctuate depending on how many laps are in each race. 72 today, 82 tomorrow for the Xfinity, and 90 for the Cup Series. Fuel window, about 32 laps, which is the length of the final stage. So pitting before the end of the stage, it will be a potential fuel mileage race if Stage 3 goes caution-free. Catch any yellows, they'll be able to save some gas, and we'll carry on. I don't believe, if I remember back, that there was a caution for incident at Lime Rock. There might have been one, but it was a pretty straightforward, clean race. Today, I think it's a lot less likely. I think there's going to be a lot of desperation. We're closer to the end of the regular season. There's a lot of drivers in must-win situations. There's a lot of drivers that qualified pretty well that are outside the cut line. Andres Perez, Gio Ruggiero, both qualifying top 5. Ben Rhodes, Connor Mosack. It's 4 drivers starting in the top 10 who are outside the top 10 in points. And it will be going green here this time by. We'll get this Fast Friday started. His car's already made its way to pit road. Corey Heim electing the inside lane for this initial start, which would be the inside of row 1. Green flag in the air, and we are underway. Modified restart zone if you're wondering why everything is scattered for those of you watching live. TV purposes. Allowed for a very good launch through that restart zone, and Heim was clear for the race lead by the time he got to the start-finish line. Field still bottlenecked in the middle of the pack down into the first turn. A couple cars, trucks I should say, were 3 wide. Getting out to mostly single file into the S's, definitely the more treacherous area of the racetrack to run side by side. A couple of them still hanging door to door with one another. Like Ross Chastain was battling with one of the front row trucks of Chandler Smith. Concedes the position before getting into the bus stop. Looks like everybody's got through the first set of corners clear. Rajan Caruth pulling onto pit road. Had a problem. I saw he dropped out of line before the field was coming to get the green. Team going to work on the 71.
Up his tires and brakes. And then while doing that, Rajan felt some issues with his rear end.
And that would be the second axle today. We have broken axle in practice as well. So something that can happen.
Yeah, that's crazy that he would break an axle like that before the green flag with having full practice earlier this afternoon. So it's not like these trucks haven't been on the track today. It's kind of strange that they didn't catch that at practice and qualifying earlier. So Kurt's still on pit road. He's going to go a lap down already as he misses the start of the race. So he scored in last. Opening lap is led by our pole sitter, Corey Heim, and he's already out to a 1 second race lead over Christopher Bell. 1.3 seconds over Andres Perez in third. Sammy Smith is 2.5 seconds ahead in fourth. Lane Riggs rounds out the top 5. He's 2.8 seconds out of the lead. Kurt does have a win. He is locked into the postseason already. So as far as that side of things go, not going to be the worst thing, but definitely hate to see that just for the team itself. I mean, a lot of crew members work hard all the way throughout the week for preparation. Drivers, crew chiefs, everybody on the team working as hard as they do. So to have something break coming to the green, it's always tough to see, especially in these lower series where you're very undermanned when it comes to who is all working on the team. Parts and pieces aren't cheap. Payout isn't maybe as much as what some of the higher series are. So having problems like this early, never fun. Second lap of the race, Bell was a little bit quicker than Heim. Initial start, Corey Heim was very, very fast. Kyle Busch breaking up into the top 10 already in the opening couple laps. Couple positions gained for him in the 07. Perez and Sammy Smith swapping positions for third. On the initial start, Smith seems to be holding back Lane Riggs a bit. Parker Kligerman up a few positions into the top 15 after starting 18th. And there were a few drivers that started very deep in the field today that we're going to be keeping an eye on that are probably going to be the bigger movers in this first stage. Caden Honeycutt started in the last row. He is already up 8 spots to 27th. Ty Majeski started outside the top 30. He's up 9 positions to 24th. And same for Grant Enfinger, also started outside the top 30, up 7 spots to 25th. They started 32nd, 33rd, 35th for those three. And they're already up almost double-digit positions, and we're only on lap number 4 at the line. Mosak up 4 positions after starting 10th to 6th. Most spots gained of anybody that is inside the top 10. Good run for him. Connor Zilich up 3 spots from 14th to 11th. Battles Kyle Busch for the 10th spot at the moment, just over 7 seconds off the lead. High speeds around this road course, only 7 turns, but 2.45 miles in length, 3 pretty long straightaways, including one of the longest straightaways in NASCAR, which will be that front stretch out of turn 7, the final corner into turn number 1, both 90-degree corners, but a lot of banking down into the first turn, so you're still carrying quite a bit of speed there, despite how much you have to get on the binders just to make the corner. A lot of elevation changes. This track is quite literally in the mountains. TV definitely does not do it justice how much of a hill climb it is, especially going through the S's. Out of the first turn into turns 2 and 3, up that gigantic hill. TV almost looks kind of flat. Being there in person for the first time back in 2019 really does it justice of how steep that hill actually is. Imagine that the balance of these race trucks going through that treacherous area very, very tight. That's why restarts can get wild going through that area of the track, one of the more dangerous areas of the racetrack to run side by side. Seen some gnarly impacts. Even in the Cup race last year, there was bigger wreck late involving Keselowski and William Byron in that area of the track. Bell was trying to match lap times with Corey Heim those first couple of laps. Heim's still slowly slipping away. He's got a 1.5 second advantage. Now, the difference also between here and Lime Rock Park, this is not a standalone truck event, so there will be live pit stops all day long. There was not at Lime Rock Park, which was a lot of the reason why Heim led 99 of 100 laps that day. He didn't have to go off strategy of potentially giving up stage points, having to pit under green, maybe making any mistakes there, not only for himself, but the pit crew as well. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging based off of that alone. Nonetheless, having a stacked field like we do with 4 Cup regulars, a couple of Xfinity drivers like Connor Zilich, Sammy Smith in the field, Parker Kligerman back, strong road course racer. Carl Newswinger, thanks for tuning in. Yes, they do, actually. Appreciate you tuning in, though. Steve, thanks for tuning in. Mosak, Trans Am player. Yeah, very accomplished road course racer in his own right. 45, Zilich. Been working on Kyle Busch for 10th place for about the last 3-4 laps. Busch going to concede. And entering turn 6 gives up enough time to allow the 45 to slip underneath him. No contest pass finally after Zilich was doing his best to try to work Busch over cleanly for the last lap and a half or so. And on to the next driver, which would be Chandler Smith in 9th, who's not that much further up ahead of the 45. So Connor Zilich on the move. Heim having clean air, I would imagine even if Zilich is a bit quicker, it's not really going to show on our stat sheet on a lap-to-lap basis. Till he maybe breaks into a position where there's a bigger gap to catch the next truck in front of him. Plus, could be using more of his tires, trying to make as many passes as he is early in the race. Obviously, him not going for any sort of points in the Truck Series season, he can be one of those drivers to not pit for stage points. Probably won't see that in tomorrow's race either for the Xfinity Series when you consider he's already locked into the playoffs as well. Corey Heim already locked up the regular season championship. I don't think he's going to try to take the extra playoff points with the stage wins today. If he does, maybe stage 1, but not stage 2. But I would imagine this is going to be a pretty straightforward 2-stopper, especially with the field window being almost the exact length of that final stage. Estimated, of course. Dean Tate, thanks for tuning in. Again, like goal is 50 for today's live commentary stream, and we are currently at 23 in the early going of the race. Opening stage, caution free, 7 laps in, just under 10 minutes of racing thus far. Heim does have the fastest lap, no surprise, leading every lap so far. 72.881 is the fast lap for Corey. Connor Zilich's fastest lap of the race was the last one he just ran, which was 7 laps into the run. That's pretty impressive. Sammy Smith also just ran his fastest lap at lap 7. Still a little over a second behind his teammate Perez for third, so not much of a battle going on there. Briggs has been putting a lot of pressure on Sammy Smith, but Sammy not folding and running his fastest lap times of the day. And Zilich, by the way, did make a... No, never mind. He did not make a pass yet on Chandler Smith. I saw the Nice Motorsport 44, not 45, in 8th. Go to the back of the field a little bit more. Honeycutt up 12 spots. Majeski up 9. It looks like he's maybe flatlined a bit just outside the top 20. Enfinger still on the move as well, plus 11 positions. Honeycutt and Enfinger, and Majeski for that matter, they're all above the cut line coming into the race today. But starting deep in the field, is there going to be an advantage for drivers below the cut line like Gio Ruggiero to stay out, get quite a few stage points, especially in this first stage with qualifying well? I would like to think so. Now Zilich has made the pass for 9th during the commercial break on Smith. 5 spots gained for Zilich since the start. He has now gained the most positions of any driver that is in the top 10 currently. Lead is 1.9 seconds for Heim over Christopher Bell in second. 5.8 seconds back to the third place truck of Andres Perez. Sammy Smith is 6.5 seconds off the lead in fourth. Lane Riggs 7.2 seconds back in fifth. 7.9 seconds to Connor Mosack in sixth. Seventh is Gio Ruggiero, 8.9 seconds off the lead. Ross Chastain 9.3 back in eighth. Connor Zilich 12.3 back in ninth. Chandler Smith in 10th. 12.5 seconds off of our current race leader. And Zilich did have a couple seconds up to Ross Chastain in front of him. Last lap for Zilich, 73.745. That was about a 10th quicker than Corey Heim. So he is running faster laps than the leaders. Look out. Just got to get that track position. Depending on how many trucks stay out at the end of this first stage on green flag pit stops, he could get a few more spots without having to actually physically pass a truck on track. Like I said, I think Gio Ruggiero is going to stay out and get points. Maybe everybody else comes in. Ruggiero could win the stage. That's who I'm kind of eyeballing. Connor Mosack is quite a ways back. I think it'd be a risk if he stayed out. He's 100 points out. You can only score 61 in a full race. With 2 races left in the regular season to make up 100 points, it's nearly impossible. It's not impossible. You'd have to get an early DNF from Jake Garcia, which currently Garcia is in 19th. We shall see. Daniel Hemrick ended up off-roading out to the bus stop. Not sure exactly what lap that was on. Not sure exactly how many positions he lost from that one mishap either. He's lost 3 from the start of the race. Not sure if it was any more than that with going as wide as he did. And Hemrick is going to short pit now as he comes to pit road. And that's probably because there's a truck that is stalled in the bus stop. Now it is in, yeah, it's in an area where it's just past where you would have to come to a complete stop if you missed the bus stop. And I would say in harm's way enough that there will be a caution, and there is. So 9 laps to go in stage 1. Caution's out for the first time today. It is the 2 truck that is stalled out on the racetrack. That is William Lombros in the Ford F-150. He'll get a push back into the pits. Derek White in 35th will get the free pass, being the first truck a lap down at the caution. Raja Karuth, by the way, who pulled off the racetrack and onto pit road to start this race today after having some rear axle issues, has not made his way onto the racetrack to complete a lap yet. So he has yet to make the start. We'll see if that team can make the fix in the garage area and get him out there at some point, but so far that has not been the case. Lombros falling a couple of laps down now, sitting on the racetrack for as long as he has, but again, Derek White will get the free pass. And we'll be back with 34 trucks on the lead lap, and we'll see if this is going to knock Lombros out of the race. Heim's lead was about 2 seconds over Christopher Bell at the time of the caution. And this is going to open up some strategy here because there is a chance that the field window to make it on the 2 stops is open by pitting now rather than at the end of the stage. By the time we get back to racing, if you were going to pit before the end of stage 1 anyway, we really only run about 3 or 4 green flag laps before you'd have to pit, so you might as well come in now, I would assume, which also could allow for the drivers who are going to pit sacrifice stage points to still actually get some by the end of the stage. They can go on offense for several laps and have fresher tires along with it. But imagine pit road will be open this time by. We'll have 7 to go at that point. I'm going to guess we'll have 5 laps to go in the restart. I think we'll have 4 laps of caution. We'll have 5 laps to go in the restart. Decisions. No lead changes yet. I'm curious to see if we'll have a mixed bag on pit strategy for a lot of the drivers who can actually compete for the win today. Like if Heim maybe stays out, Bell pits, or vice versa. And does Connor Zilic do exactly what the 11 and the 52 do, or does he do opposite? Corey Heim bringing quite a few trucks in, really.
Way, Mr. Bodine.
Yeah, Christopher Bell says his truck has gone to the tight side. He said if he can rotate this a little bit better, he'd have way more pace. So Jimmy filling up the crew chick, adding a little air freshener to the rear tires, that helped the situation. Amanda?
Yeah, Connor Delic is also saying that his truck is a little tight, but he's also emphasized the importance of finding clean air out there. I talked to Connor about getting this ride in the 45 truck this weekend, and he said that Trackhouse called him, and there was no hesitation. The thought to do a triple this weekend with it spaced out, a no-brainer. And as we move on to Corey Heim, who just pulled into his box, crew chief reminding him that it is a bit of a downhill. And it's Corey Heim, and it's all felt great about that truck as he leads this pack, Jamie.
Pretty easy race win off a pit road for Corey Heim. Quite a few positions going to be lost for Christopher Bell, down 3 spots. Backward style pit stops here at Watkins Glen, where you have to service the left side of the truck before the right side. Most ovals would go the complete opposite direction, where you'd go right sides then lefts. Some teams adapting to that much better than others. Most spots that I saw gain with the 4-tire stops looked like 5 positions for William Sawalich. He's back into the top 10 to 8th. Connor Zilich was up a few positions. There were some that stayed out. Gio Ruggiero stayed out of the pits. I believe he will be the leader, which I expected that he was going to stay out for the stage point purposes where he's at in the standings. But now he's going to have to play defense to hold on to the end of the stage, and I don't know how many more buffer trucks he'll have directly behind him that tried to leapfrog a lot of the field. Mark Witkowski, thanks for tuning in. Why stop with 4 to go? Talk about like on the restart, exactly. If you're talking about pitting right now before the end of the stage, I would assume you mean under green. I think anybody that stays out of the pits are staying out because they want the stage points, and they're going to have to battle for it now versus just outright getting handed the stage points because of everybody pitting in front of them. If we were under green flag conditions, obviously the likes of Heim and everybody else that pitted and was towards the front of the field, and those that cycled out of the pits wouldn't have a chance to catch them, but now they do. I don't think our leaderboard is fully updated yet. I doubt Ruggiero was the only truck that stayed out. And if he is, gosh, that's going to hurt him. Because I don't think he's going to hold on for the stage win if he's the only one that stayed out. He'd be lucky to end up where he was running anyway, which I believe was 7th before the caution came out. He's got a few that stayed out. Ben Rhodes, Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick came to pit road right before the caution came out. So great call by that 19 team. He went off track, lost quite a few spots. He was back in 20th. Now he's up to 3rd. And he would basically have the same amount of laps on his tires as everybody that just pitted during the yellow. And Ben Rhodes in the 99 also stayed out. So only Ruggiero and Rhodes have not been to pit road yet today, which means the likelihood that they will pit at the end of stage 1 very high, and they're going to be further back than what they were ever running beforehand. So this is a great risk. Both Ruggiero and Rhodes below the cut line, so I can understand why they do it, but they're going to have an uphill climb to get anywhere near the top 10 before the end of the race from stage 2 onward. And they're going to be on older tires compared to everybody else behind them, and they don't have a lot of buffer cars in between. Top half dozen for the next restart will have Ruggiero in the lead, Ben Rhodes in 2nd, the Daniel Hemrick 3rd, Corey Heim 4th, Lane Riggs in 5th, Ross Chastain will be 6th. 7th will be Connor Zilich, Christopher Bell 8th, Andres Perez 9th, William Sawalich 10th, and Connor Mosack and Sammy Smith round out the top 12. Lap 14 of 72. Again, caution for the first time today. The 2 truck of William Lombro stalling out in the bus stop, bringing out the caution. Believe there's a pit road penalty or something of that nature for the 07 team of Kyle Busch. He's going to be 32nd on the restart as he loses a ton of positions. He was running in the 10th place position when the caution flag came out. So Kyle Busch, tail end of the field. We'll have 5 laps to go in the restart, which is exactly what I predicted.
There to go to the garage. He was having issues throughout stage 1. Mentioned that he was having brake issues and having some steering issues. They came down pit road at the end of stage 1, lifted the hood, and it was a broken steering box to take Kyle Busch out
Wow.
of this race.
Never mind. There you go. Broken steering box for Kyle Busch, one of the heavy hitters out of the race today. Again, one of 4 Cup regulars in the field. Was in the top 10. Early exit for Busch. Change your votes in the voting poll if you get a chance to. 28% of the 43 votes have Kyle Busch for the race win. Again, he is done for the afternoon. Connor Zilisch leads our poll at 37%. Heim at 14%. My pick to win. First off of pit road, will be restarting in third. And 21% of you have somebody other than all those. And other leads the way with Gio Ruggiero in front of the field. All right. So 5 laps left, stage 1. Top 3 stayed out. Green flag back in the air. Only the front row will have older tires for the restart. Nearly contact made between Ruggiero and Rhodes. Rhodes almost got squeezed against the wall. Heim not wasting any time. He pulled clear of Hemrick. He quickly goes down to the bottom of the racetrack, outbreaks his teammate Ruggiero into the first turn, and Heim's already up to second. Ben Rhodes gets through with the race lead after nearly getting crammed into the wall out of turn 7 out of the restart zone. And now he is to play defense on the series points leader. Christopher Bell charges his way through the S's by the 17 of Ruggiero, who's already dropped to 5th after restarting as the leader. And he's going backwards in a hurry. Connor Zilisch blocking off Lane Riggs into the bus stop defensive line on the inside. Everybody bouncing up out of the curb through the bus stop. One of them off the road, and that would be the 15 of Tanner Gray, who went wide, returns to the racetrack. Don't believe he went around for a spin, but definitely lost quite a few spots. A little out there in the grass. Fox missed the pass for the lead. I would assume in turn 5 is where Corey Heim was able to get by Ben Rhodes, because Rhodes had the lead out of the bus stop. Now Heim is the driver who sets the pace yet again. So Heim has led every green flag lap of the race today, but obviously under the caution laps, it was led by Ruggiero. Rhodes led coming to the start-finish line on that last restart, I do believe. Yes, he did. So he did get 1 lap led in, 2 for Ruggiero during the caution, and Heim has led the other 13. 4 laps to go, stage 1. And Heim's already 1 second out ahead of Rhodes. Chastain, by the way, up to 3rd. Great restart for the 44. Riding in front of Christopher Bell. And the 52 will be racing each other on Sunday. Zilisch still in 7th, right where he restarted. He's got Hemrick and Ruggiero in front of him, and I would imagine he could probably get by those 2 before the end of the stage. Rhodes loses a spot to Chastain. Ross Chastain up to 2nd. Bell trying to follow. Again, Rhodes on older tires. Bell on the outside into the braking zone of turn 6. He'll have the inside into 7 if he isn't able to clear on the 99 there. But he does pull clear, and he can enter in with his normal apex through 7. Pull away from Rhodes even more. Great run out of turn 7 by Zilisch. Pulls out of line on the front stretch. He's going to try to outbrake Hemrick. Hemrick with a late block into that said braking zone. So Zilisch will not get by that time. Heim's coming up on 2.5 laps to go in the stage. He's got about 1.8 to 1.9 seconds over Chastain in 2nd. The caution is going to work out well for Corey Heim because he got to the lead quick enough on the restart. He probably wouldn't have won the stage to get a playoff point. He's going to add another one to his credit. Give him 55 playoff points on the year for winning this first stage, and that's including the 15 regular season or playoff points for winning the regular season title, which again he clinched in the last race. Michael Turner, by the way, thanks for tuning in. Yep, steering box mechanical failure for Busch. Tough, tough, tough. Terry Lewis did not pick Kyle Busch. I think you can change your votes in the chat poll. I can't vote myself in the chat poll. YouTube doesn't allow me because I'm the one that sets it up. So I have no idea for sure if you can change your votes or not. If you can, I'd highly recommend picking somebody other than Kyle Busch because, again, he is out for the race. A lot of those votes that he does have, obviously, they have picked beforehand. You have to let me know in the chat if you guys can edit picks or not. Because I know you can on the community tab, but I don't know if you can or not in the live chat. Poll might even disappear on your guys' end after you vote, too. Zilch, the last lap, was able to get by Hemrick for 6th. And I kind of predicted that he was going to be able to get by Ruggiero. He might even get by Ben Rhodes, who is also fading back on his older tires. Ruggiero struggling for grip out of turn 5. Zilch actually got the bumper to him through the center of the corner. Zilch looks to the inside. Ruggiero knows that if he just gives up that one position, though, could get freight trained by several trucks behind him. 5th place stage point sounds pretty good if he can hold on. Even if he only loses one spot out of this, it's better than where he was running, which was 7th place before the caution came out. Zilch is on the inside of Ruggiero, side drafts him as they cross the start-finish line. And Zilch is clear for 5th place. First time he's broken into the top 5 today. Sawalch gets underneath of Daniel Hemrick. They're side-by-side just behind those two for 7th. And Sawalch has the advantage, pulls clear. Hemrick slips the rear tires out of the S's, trying to run side-by-side. And Lane Riggs in the 34 truck is now all over the 19. They're barely holding off Connor Mosack getting into the S's as well. I almost wonder if that wiggle by the 1981 might have hopped out of the gas safety mechanism. Zilch pushing hard. Pressure on the back of the 99 of Ben Rhodes. He's got 2 more corners to get by him for 4th. Bell is closed on Chastain for 2nd as well. They're nose to tail. Hemrick still got about a 2-second lead. Rhodes well wide out of turn 5. We'll have the outside in 6. Zilch that is, but he'll have the inside into 7. And he should get by Ben Rhodes with that being said. And he does clear for 4th. Corey Heim will go on to win the opening stage of today's race from the pole. 55 playoff points on the season for Corey Heim. And I believe he's got 15 stage wins on the year after winning this one as well, which is already the most in Truck Series history. Stage racing implemented back in 2017. And he's only adding to that record with another one here today. Heim first at the end of stage 1. Ross Chastain 2nd. Christopher Bell 3rd. Then Connor Zilch in 4th. Ben Rhodes 5th. Gio Ruggiero 6th. William Sawalch 7th. Daniel Hemrick 8th. Lane Riggs 9th. Connor Mosack rounds out the top 10. And again, the only 2 drivers that have not yet been to pit road today, Ben Rhodes and Gio Ruggiero, stayed out to get stage points. Rhodes was 5th. Ruggiero 6th. And Jake Garcia, who came into the race today, last driver above the cut line, did not get any stage points. Garcia is currently 18th. Well, for fuel purposes, they're going to have to pit at some point. I mean, there's a chance they maybe stay out now. And then pit during the green flag portion of stage 2. The problem is I don't think they're going to be able to go long enough to make it on one stop. Unless we get a lot of cautions. And they're still on older tires, and we saw them go backwards in a hurry on the much faster trucks at the front of the field. Those top 4 of Heim, Chastain, Bell, and Zilch. I don't like their chances. Wade, Patrick Chatterley, Emogene Blevins. Thanks for tuning in. Picked other for the win. Yeah, it's a good move. I do think Bell is quicker than Chastain. He ran out of laps to get by him for 2nd. Zilch was running faster lap times before the first caution came out than that of Heim, who wins the first stage. If we're looking at raw speed of things here, I think the race win battle as of right now stands between the 11 and the 45. until I see the 45 battle with the 11 head-to-head, I'm not going to for sure state that Zilich is going to be 100% better than Heim, but the lap times, he was very barely ahead. Heim was distancing himself from Chastain and Bell even before they were battling each other. Bell was in second place at the start of the race, and Heim was able to grow out to a 2-second lead before that first yellow at lap 9. Hour into the stream. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, stage 1 has just come to an end, so we're under caution for the second time now today. 15th stage win of the year for Corey Heim.
I don't know why we had to leave, but I'm glad that we're back.
We left one time for 20-some years, say. And we showed back up in 1986 with the Cup cars, and this place has been just amazing. An amazing part of the schedule in the summertime up in upstate New York.
Well, it was an amazing stage 1 for Corey Heim. You see that, maximize the points there, picked up 10. Where you see the dashes, that means they're not eligible for stage points because, well, they're just coming in here for the win.
Big deal, though, I think, for Ben Rhodes, Gio Ruggiero, even Daniel Hemrick picking up those stage points is knowing how important it is to have those as we race toward the championship.
And I think as you look at Ben Rhodes, those 6 points there, because he is in the tightest position in terms of points right now, they help him more than anybody else and get him closer and technically right now about what we think will be the cut line at some point. Daniel Hemrick, though, was running 18th or so before he made that pit stop, before they make that great call to hit pit road. So a good call by that team as well.
Okay, so we had that first round of stops under the first caution, and only 2 drivers stayed out. So for sure, Ben Rhodes, Gio Ruggiero expected to pit here. That all we're looking at, boys?
I think you got it.
They can make it to the end of stage 2. And then everybody comes, and then do you make it to the end? That's the big question.
We'll raise that question again in a little while.
32 laps, it's like on the number. So 2 drivers will bring it down pit road for service. We'll step aside. We'll bring you more racing action on the backside when we kick off stage number 2.
All right. Jackson Thomas, welcome into the stream. Stage yellow came out at lap 20. Second stage also 20 laps in length, 32 for stage 3 today. And ways to go in this race. First time in 4 years that the Craftsman Truck Series has been at Watkins, Glen. Defending winner of the race, Austin Hill, not in this race today. Hattori Racing actually isn't in this race. Unfortunately, Shikiki Hattori had passed earlier this season, owner of that race team. Founded the race team, actually drove his own equipment back in the early to mid 2000s. Some of the earlier years in the truck series. The 16 truck is who Austin Hill drove for back in his full-time truck series days. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. Picking C-Bell for the win. This would be almost a home race for Stuart Friesen. Here in Michigan, obviously the closest to the U.S.-Canada border. Friesen from up north. Canadian driver, won at Michigan earlier this season. Be another at-home feel-like win here for Bell and that team if they can get that 52 truck to victory lane for the second time this year. Truck Series used to go to Canada. For a while, we're racing a standalone event at... Not sure exactly where the track itself in Canada was located. I believe it was in Ontario, but I keep wanting to say Gateway off the top of my head. I'll get it. I'll get it at some point. Stumbling. I know it's not Gateway. I'm stumbling, chat. I need help. I'm having a brain freeze moment. It was something Motorplex. Canadian Tire. Gosh. I got it. I got it eventually. Canadian Tire. Oh, man. That was bad. At least I thought of it eventually. Bowmanville, Ontario. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to guess that specifically. But I'm glad I ended up getting the right answer.
Trucks could go anywhere from 30, 31 laps, somewhere in that area in terms of fuel mileage. But the pace is a little bit quicker than what anybody anticipated before we got to the racetrack at Watkins Glen. That burns more fuel when that happens. Stage 2 is this 20-lap stage. So what a lot of these trucks would have liked to have done, they would have liked to have pitted at the very end of stage 2 before the yellow flag came out for that stage break, and that would allow them to run the entire final stage. You're hearing right there, though, a little bit of doubt on the radio. That was Phil Gould talking to Connor Zilic. A little bit of doubt on if they could do that and make that work. And that's why there's some question marks about strategy. And these teams were waiting until that first pit stop to get a really true reading on what the fuel was going to do. Michael, I wouldn't want to be a crew chief today. They're crunching numbers, and I guarantee you those pit boxes are literally on fire with computers.
You know, we had a key word in our Ram race strategy, will. Will they pit before the end of the second stage? And it sounds like that they don't think they can. So this will play into who is able to pull off the best strategy.
Connor Zilic had worked his way up to fourth. You see him there in the 45 truck. So Todd, we had two come down pit road. What'd you see?
Yeah, Jamie, first is Ben Rose in the 99. He's one of the trucks that did not flip the stage, and he was hanging on for dear life. We saw on that last lap, the truck got out from under him off of turn 5. Needs rear grip. Anytime anybody gets close to his rear bumper, the thing is sideways, so they needed rear grip. And a little update on the 66 Chris Boucher. They think that they might have a bad fuel pressure sensor.
Oh.
Not necessarily the fuel pump itself, but the sensor is bad because it's doing the same thing it did with the other pump. So they're optimistic that they're going to be just fine.
We saw him under the hood, Todd, checking that out. So that'd be good news for Chris. You know he's going to be fast if he gets those issues sorted.
So what does he do? Ignore the sensor and just hammer down?
Yeah, I think at that point it's more just it's annoying for the driver, right? Your gauges are flashing on the dash. Anytime that happens, you're taught for your eye to get drawn to that gauge, whether it's fuel pressure, oil pressure, whatever it might be. And he'll just have to. He can do what I used to do, Michael. I would just tell him I'm not looking at the gauges anyways, and they'd ask what temperature it was, and I said I can't see it. I don't know. So.
Yeah.
It's nice to have Chris Boucher in the field. It's really hard to believe, guys. I know we've talked about it, but he literally went from the ARCA series, skipped over trucks, went to Xfinity racing, and then Cup. He won the Cup race here at the Glen last year, but it's his first. I think he's got a rookie stripe on his truck. He should.
There's no rookie stripes anymore, Jamie.
That Chris Boucher at a track that he's won a Cup race would have a rookie stripe, but certainly it's great to have him in the field. And you know, I think as we talked to Corey Heim at the top of the show, when the field is this stacked, it's a really good measuring stick for all of these Truck Series drivers as to not only where they are, but where equipment is and different things like that. And as we talk about that, Corey Heim leading them as he's done all day long. Look behind him, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Connor Zilic. These guys have all been turning really quick lap times, and this is going to be fun when we get this restart to see how they stack up with each other.
Well, one thing that we've noticed so far, Regan, is Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Sawallich, they have not been able to keep pace with Corey Heim. He's able to pull away from him. But that 45 truck right there, he's just made his way up into the conversation. Can he be a guy that is able to run the kind of lap times that we've seen Corey Heim, and can he keep up with Corey?
Well, I'm excited to find out here in just a moment, Michael, as they get ready to come back to the green flag here. And you know, this is the next 3 passes that he has to try, or 2 passes he has to try to make to see if he can keep up with Corey. They're not going to be easy passes. They're not going to be something that's going to be given to him.
Cleaning those tires off and getting ready to get to the restart zone.
So the pace car pulling off. Remember this different restart zone. This has come up quick. You see it right there, those 2 lines.
Go when they cross the first one.
Corey Heim. Control truck, Ross Chastain on the outside. Turn number 7 and down the front stretch. There's the green flag in the air as they fan out pretty clean. They work their way down into turn 1. Let's see if Ross Chastain has anything for Heim.
Good run for Ross down into turn 1. Can he squeeze Heim down and grab the lead?
It's going to be close.
It's going to be fun through the S's here.
Wow.
Side by side, he gets them.
Chastain to the lead.
Christopher Bell was able to hold off Zilich. Wow. Look how tight that is.
Zilich takes a look. Next to Sawalich. And he gets it.
Daniel Henry 6 hanging in there after that strategy call.
So much action in the pack. You see the 7 truck, Sammy Smith.
Battle for the lead there, as you see, Corey Heim was able to get to the right side just briefly of Ross Chastain, and that is wild. That all that racetrack, and they're still finding the
Christopher Bell taking a look.
Corey on the outside. Can he cross over? That was his plan. Does it work? Oh, yeah. He's there.
Perfection, Michael. That is exactly how you want to do that.
For the lead, look at this. Down into turn 1 where it all started. Look at Christopher Bell taking a look. Thought he'd try to make it 3 wide. Corey Heim with the advantage this time. Back to the lead.
Oh, he
Contact. Look at Zilich. He's going to try to make it 3 wide for the lead. He is knocking at the door of that 45.
Sawalich as well. What a battle at Watkins Glen.
Truck just watching all of this unfold. And there's smoke. There's smoke back there. There's big contact and dirt kicked up all over the racetrack.
You can't be smarter than anybody right now. You just got to go. These guys have got the gloves off, the sleeves rolled up. They're going at it.
And as we looked at the lineup before this restart, this is exactly what we thought we would get at the front of the pack right here, and just some awesome racing. And that was actually the 11th spotter of Tony Hirschman that we just heard tell him he's going to play games all day long to try and put you in a bad spot. And I'm going to assume he was referring to Ross Chastain as he was talking about that right there. And if you don't have a truck point as good, sometimes that's what you have to do to your competitor.
I'm catching my breath now. That was quite the restart right there.
I think they are too, Michael.
Sammy Smith finally off turn 1.
Andres Perez had fallen back after the initial handful of laps in the 10th spot now in the 77 truck.
Saw Matt Craftsman struggle early, but he's found himself inside the top 15. Good recovery for the 88. There comes that Brad Menard's number 88. Champion driver, Matt Craftsman. Veteran just had a 19-year-old. That's what the Truck Series is, isn't it?
A little bit of everything in the Truck Series, Michael, and that's how we like it being.
Dawson Sutton in that 26 truck. As Corey Heim begins to just get him a little bit of separation. And we haven't seen the 45 of Zilich be able to do anything with Chastain or Bell. He's right there, but not better at the moment.
And his best chance was on the restart, right? The 2 laps immediately after the restart, especially when things got shaken up a little bit in front of him there, that pass becomes more difficult to make because you know Christopher Bell, he's a veteran. He's going to optimize his braking into corners just as much as Connor Zilich is going to be able to do with that 45 truck. And then it limits your passing zones a little bit because if you don't complete the pass, then you lose time to him and you got to catch him again.
I just can't believe how aggressive they were and how tight things were in contact, and we kept them all heading in the right direction. That was awesome.
Corey Heim, one of 4 leaders today. He's led the most, lap 24. Kyle Busch led a lap, Ben Rhodes led a lap, and Gio Ruggiero credited with 1. 13 laps to go at stage number 2. Corey Heim out front. Ross Chastain chasing him.
All right, Corey Heim leads the way. Ross Chastain a second back in second, 1.2 seconds to Christopher Bell in third, and 1.4 seconds over the 4th place truck of Connor Zilich. William Sawalich is in fifth. Daniel Hemrick 6th. Lane Riggs 7th. 8th for Connor Mosack. Sammy Smith 9th. Andres Perez rounds out the top 10. Then Tyler Rankam's in 11th, Parker Kligerman 12th, Grant Enfinger 13th, Ty Majeski 14th, 15th for Matt Crafton, Dawson Sutton 16th, Chandler Smith 17th, Jake Garcia 18th, 19th is Gio Ruggiero, Ben Rhodes in 20th, Matt Mills 21st, 22nd Tanner Gray, Caden Honeycutt 23rd, Timmy Hill 24th, Tony Breitinger 25th, Brent Cruz 26th, Frankie Muniz 27th, Jack Wood 28th, Gian Bufamonte in 29th, Wesley Slint 30th, Spencer Boyd 31st, Chris Busher 32nd, Derek White 33rd as the last truck in the lead lap. William Lombros, I believe, is still in the race or back out on the racetrack, but 9 laps down. And then Kyle Busch, we saw pulled into the garage area back during the caution period late in stage 1. Raja Karuth did not even make a lap in today's race before having rear axle issues. So that rounds out our 36 truck field. 3 lead changes, 6 laps under the yellow, 3 during each yellow. Stage 1 with the 2 truck of Lombro stalling out in the bus stop, and then the stage 1 caution so far. Hyman Chastain continued to kind of trade lap times back and forth. Chastain able to at least be close enough to the 11, see what Heim's doing, try to do it better. And a lot of lap time matching for each of those top 4, who are definitely the strongest 4 when it comes to being competitive for the race win. Heck of a battle in that restart to begin stage 2. Chastain was able to get to the lead for a brief moment over Corey Heim. Heim got it back. Next lap, Chastain nearly turning Heim in the Estes. That would have been terrible. It wasn't intentional by any means. I think he was trying to duck in line behind him, and he ended up accidentally clipping him. Heim got a bit loose, and they were side by side again out of the Estes, but Heim did hold on to it. Eventually held on to the lead, where he's out in front for right now.
Corey Heim commanding lead, and he continues to extend it over Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell.
Commanding lead a second, and you say that, Jamie, but that is in this race.
Slowly, yes.
It's just been crazy, especially after that restart. So much fun watching these guys do battle. And then all through the pack, we see great racing.
You get on back to about 13th to 15th. It has been a hornet's nest for the past couple laps, and really enjoy watching these guys with the elbows up, getting after it. That's what road racing, that's what the Glen is all about.
Daniel Hemrick quietly having a great race, guys.
Yeah, they made that timely pit stop before that. Caution fell in stage 1, got him track position, and he just did a fabulous job of hanging on to it.
You see as the trucks come up through the S's right here, it's such a fun part of the racetrack. The elevation changes, Michael, and going back and forth, trying to keep your momentum up. There are some challenges, though, as you get to the end of the S's and you have to grab 4th gear. Very difficult point right there to shift. Your whole body wants to pull it to 2nd gear, and you're trying to get it to 4th gear, and you can't let a moment slip. As Daniel Hemrick is, I know we've talked about him, but continuing to run really well.
Yeah, that's good to see. Good looking number 19 Napa truck. Got Lane Riggs behind him. Lane's been on quite the road. Did a great job at Lime Rock. Was very fast on that road course earlier. Couple of second place finishes in the stage.
Oh, Caden Honeycutt. Broken transmission.
Winning that down.
That's tough for Caden, and I know that we've had all kinds of different points discussions as we've got the number 2
William
truck.
Lambros again with more issues. He had gone back to the pits and got it refired and was able to come back out, but more problems now. But Caden Honeycutt, guys, to talk about him, he was 73 points to the good in the playoff standings. So
there's smoke there from the 38. Chandler Smith. I think there might have been some contact. That could be tire smoke. He's racing tight there. Is that right rear? No, is it the left rear?
It's like left rear.
Yeah, you see the damage.
Yep.
Chandler Smith right now running 16th.
Wow. See if that thing, sometimes it'll clearance itself. That looks pretty heavy.
I don't know that they're going to be able to take the chance of that clearance in itself. The other hit.
Quite a bit of damage right
Outside
there.
of that truck, there's been some contact there. And the other issue that they're going to have is, as Matt Crafton tries to get this position as well, they're not in any kind of a window right now. Even if they wanted to pick right here, it doesn't necessarily do them any good. You you know, you can do it, and they're going to have to. It looks like that tire's coming apart almost.
There's Lambros trying to limp back in that 2 truck. He's got a rear end housing, looks like it's askew.
Todd, let's get an update on Caden Honeycutt. What happened there?
Yeah, Jamie. No power steering. Power steering pump quit, and that is no fun on a road course for sure. It was a shame. He really liked this truck. He thought it was handy and decent. They did move forward some, but no power steering pump.
They originally thought it was a broken transmission. So thank you, Todd, for the update, but hate to see that and the points implications. We'll wait till the end of the race and see how that all shakes out for Caden Honeycutt.
Boy, I was worried about Lambros getting that thing back to pit road, the track bar in the back broken, and he had to limp it in there, but was able to cross over the track and got it to pit road. So we'll stay green. There's a 38, Chandler Smith. He had to come in because of the tire coming apart, as you said, Regan.
Yeah, and that was the right call. They had to get in and get those fenders clearanced, and it looked like that tire had fully come apart at that point. So he's going to stay on the lead lap. That's going to be a big key right here, is that he was able to keep it on the lead lap and at least get it to the end of the stage and figure out what they can do from there.
The laps ticking away, just 7 to go here as Corey Heim continues to lead, has extended his lead just over a second. Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell still back there in 3rd, and Connor Zilic, William Sawalich, your top 5.
Put the work in. That ad was loud, jeez. All right, well, Corey Heim leads, 7 laps to go in the stage. Full screen commercial break on Fox Sports 1. Ross Chastain in 2nd, Christopher Bell 3rd, Connor Zilic 4th. And those 4 positions have not changed since the restart. And I believe those are all the same spots that they restarted in. Chastain got to lead for a brief moment, getting by Heim out of the restart zone into the first turn. Chastain was able to pull clear, but Heim got him right back on the front stretch the next time around. William Sawalich is in 5th, where he's been for the majority of the stage. Daniel Hemrick in 6th. Lane Riggs 7th. Connor Mosack in 8th. Sammy Smith 9th. Andres Perez rounds out the top 10. Still the 3 lead changes, so Heim's led every lap from when we last went all the way through the field, all the way to where we're at right now. 1.3 second lead for Corey Heim over 2nd place Ross Chastain. And again, 2.3 seconds to Bell, and Zilic is 2.8 seconds back. It'll be interesting to see if drivers will pit before the end of this stage or at the stage end itself. It's going to be determined on whether the crew chiefs think that these teams are going to be able to make it on fuel with pitting, say, with 3-4 to go in the stage, and then still make it to the end. 32 laps is that estimated fuel window, which is the exact length of stage 3. We know we're going to get some caution laps, obviously, where there can be some fuel-saving measures, but 3 laps at Watkins Glen, nearly 2.5 miles. It's really tough to save in a road course when you're shifting constantly. Anytime you're shifting, utilizing that transmission as much going from one year to the next, you're going to be burning a lot more fuel than what you could on a standard oval. It's a very fast road course. You're going to be giving up a lot of time just trying to coast your way through corners. Food sponsors better not make you hungry. I was actually just finishing up my lunch off to the side there, and they cut the commercial a little bit earlier than I thought they were going to. So I'll end up finishing that when they come back from commercial this time around. NASCAR's best road course, I would say so. It's an abomination to have a boring race at the Glen. I wouldn't necessarily consider this one to be boring up to this point. Arena Sarah, by the way, shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. I don't think I gave you your shout out yet. Frank Powers, welcome to the stream as well. Problems for the 38 truck as he's on to pit road.
You can see tons of smoke billowing out of that truck right here. Not exactly sure what the problem is, but he was able to
Caution
get
is
back
out,
to
by
pit
the
road.
way.
Todd, can you tell us any more about what they got going on?
Yeah, Regan, this is a crying shame. A broken fender brace has gone in. The first tire cut all the way down through the cords. I've never seen the bike that came off. When went put the tire back on, went out, and of course they didn't get the fender brace fixed because they didn't know what it was. It ruined the second left rear tire. So they on pit road now. They've taken the fender brace off, all the inner fender panels coming out of it. Day's over pretty much for Chandler Smith.
Wow. Great update. Thank you very much, Jack Wood. Wow.
Big contact.
And the caution is out for the third time today.
We've seen some tight racing and nobody's made a mistake, but man, Jack's got some big damage there.
Some damage, some tire issues. We had Grant Enfinger had come down pit road about a lap or two ago. We wondered what he was thinking, if they were hoping for a caution, but now they got it. Too late.
You can see on the Jack Wood truck there. Glad to hear him say he was okay. And you can see that Armco barrier that was kind of stamped into the left side of his truck. And was going to say that usually is a sign of through the S is a problem. And you see it take off straight.
Man, and that's right into the driver's door.
And looks like a left front tire maybe had let go on him right there for it to go straight. And it's hard. And that's a hard impact there. So glad to hear him say it was okay.
And you could hear him breathing heavily as he said that.
Hit hard again a second time.
Just a hard contact there for Jack.
And just you're carrying a ton of speed at that part of the racetrack. The trucks are in third gear as they go down through that section, and one of the quicker areas of the racetrack. And
yeah, that was a big impact. You could
definitely catches
see.
his breath. Yeah.
Hey Regan, how much smoke is coming off the computers in the pit area with the engineers and the crew chiefs trying to figure out do we pit here? Who pits? We asked that question. Will they pit? This is your chance to be smart, Regan.
Well, there's a reason why I'm sitting with you in here, Michael, and I am not on one of those pit boxes because I don't know what the right call is right now. It depends on how long it takes to clean this caution flag up, first and foremost, if we get back racing, and what your play was prior to that. There's really only two options that I could see, and it would be to either pit at the stage break or pit before the stage break and take 4 tires and then come back down pit road during the stage break to top off with fuel. And the good news is pits are open. We're about to find out, and I'm not going to have to guess.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Regan. We're going to find out what these crew chiefs have decided. Who needs those stage points? Who wants to just gamble for the win?
Saw the crew chiefs there for the first and third place trucks. We could just know what they're thinking. What are we going to see? Corey Heim, Scott Zipadelli, do they come now? I mean,
there's the tires.
Crew chief said 28 to 31 laps, right, on a tank of fuel, and here we are, 36 laps to go. Do you take that gamble and hope for a caution? They're all coming your way, Todd.
52, Christopher Bell, he likes this truck. They made a small adjustment the first time in. Says the truck's really good. Just needs track position. Amanda?
Yeah, this is going to be a busy stop for the 45 or for the 44 of Ross Chastain. Just witness told the team that the fuel pressure keeps cutting out, so they're going to change the fuel pump.
Oh, wow.
On this stop, and as we move on to Corey Heim, Jamie, there was no hesitation from Scott Zipadelli when this caution came out. He told Corey Heim, "Bring it right to me." So Corey, hopefully, good stop here and get him out in front of the pack as they leave pit roads.
The name of the game today is just keep your truck in one piece with no issues. We have seen things all day long. Look at the 45 of Connor Zillage. That crew's been on it all day. They gain him 3 spots and the lead.
Something went wrong with Christopher Bell's stop here in the 52 truck.
And they did lose a couple spots on the first stop, and we'll have to see what took place on the second stop. Obviously, a little bit worse.
Christopher did a nice job of putting it right in the box where he needed to. You can see problems on that left front.
Todd, you've been on it all day. What'd you hear?
Yeah, Jamie, it's something that we see with these trucks a lot. The way they set the sway bars up in the front of them, the left front tire just would not drop out, so the changer could not get it off, and it caused that track position Christopher needed is not going to happen on this stop.
And that is so painful, Regan, sitting there as a driver. As you know, there's nothing the team can do. They're just battling with that tire, waiting for it to drop out of the fender well enough to change it, and it's painful.
And that changer was doing everything he could to get that tire off of there. It's so much so you can see the fender on the left front there is just a little bit broken now because he was pulling so hard to get that tire off of there and get it to drop out. And there's still time left. The race is not over yet for Christopher.
We've got some strategy plays up front, too. We got a few more guys that did stuff different than the leaders.
Yes, we do. It looks like 8 drivers stayed out. Connor Zilic, though, was the quickest on pit road. We'll shake it all out when we come back as we remain under caution from Watkins Glen.
Yeah, they're not going to get the one to go signal this time by, but I would imagine they'll get it the following time. Otherwise, NASCAR wouldn't have opened pit road if they would have known that this was going to end stage 2 under yellow following that massive hit from Jack Wood, which brought out our 3rd caution of the day, 2nd of the race for incidents. Quite a few DNFs, quite a few mechanical failures in this race. You can tell it's the first race in 4 years at Watkins Glen for the Truck Series. A lot of these teams having parts and pieces that are not able to adjust to the racetrack here in upstate New York. Raja Caruth having the rear axle break before the start. Kyle Busch having a problem having to pull onto pit road with a steering box issue. He's out and in the garage area. William Lombros, something in the rear end housing looked like it had broke. Not sure if that was the cause for him to stall out the first time and then they tried to get it back on track, but he ended up having 2 issues. Caden Honeycutt, power steering issue, done for the day. And Chandler Smith, the most recent to have a mechanical failure to take him out right before that last caution came out. He was on pit road. That might be a repairable problem for Smith, but definitely going to lose some laps even with the caution flag coming out. He's currently 4 laps down. Something in the left rear causing the left rear tire to go flat. Something is rubbing up against it. The undermount of the race truck. Chris Buescher, he was having some issues mechanically earlier with the electronics on the dash of his race truck. It didn't seem like there was a major issue there, and it was just the dash itself that was malfunctioning, but he is 4 laps down currently, so I almost wonder if maybe there is maybe an oil pressure issue after all. And Ross Chastain, who was just in 2nd place, going to try to stay on the lead lap. Luckily, with it being a road course and having the caution fuel pump issue for Ross Chastain. So that 44 Nice Motorsports Chevrolet, and that team has changed the fuel pump. Chastain will be able to continue in the race, but he has now scored 27th, one of the last trucks on the lead lap. And we still have just under half the race to go. Might have more mechanical issues to record on top of it. But that's all of them. Quite a few. A lot of heavy hitters having problems too. Again, Kyle Busch, Raja Caruth, Caden Honeycutt, Chandler Smith, Chris Buescher, and now Ross Chastain, but Chastain will be able to continue on the lead lap. Will anybody else have major problems here before the end? Quite a few trucks staying out to get some stage points. Connor Zilic, who won the race off of pit road, will be 8th on the restart. The top 7 stayed out. The drivers that did stay out to try to go for the stage win and or stage points: Daniel Hemrick, Sammy Smith, Ben Rhodes again. He's in 3rd. Jake Garcia, last driver in on points. No stage points in stage 1. He is 4th. Timmy Hill, Frankie Muniz also stayed out of the pits. Same for Tanner Gray. So again, 8th on back will be Zilic, Heim, Riggs, Sawalich, and everybody else who just hit pit road.
Lap shootout that in terms of, Corey Heim, who was leading the race back in 9th place currently right now on those fresh tires, and everybody behind Corey Heim as well on fresh tires. Connor Zilic was able to gain a couple spots on pit road. Of the guys that pitted, he came off first, so this is going to be a wild restart.
Wild is exactly the word I was thinking, Regan. You said it.
So we expect the top 7 who stayed out to come down and pit, but do we see anybody come down and maybe top off?
Let's get through this first. This is going to be wild. They might not have a choice but to come in and pull some fenders away.
Damn it, Jim. We'll take care of that first.
A 1 lap shootout. Here we go. It'll be 33 laps to go in total. Once they take that green flag once again. So Daniel Hemrick, Sammy Smith.
How about this, Jamie?
Haven't seen them up front on a restart. See how they do on these older.
Yeah, Sammy Smith not going for points himself, but the owner's standings again. Remember, Carson Hosevar and Kyle Busch have won in that 7 truck this year, so they are in the owner's championship. Green flag back in the air. Not a great restart for either one of the drivers on the front row. Looked like maybe a missed shift out of turn 7 for Daniel Hemrick as he got overtaken quickly. Boy, we got a wreck into the first turn. Lane Riggs hooks, I believe, the 56 of Timmy Hill, who then hooked the 9 of Grant Enfinger. They'll all drive on by, but for Riggs and Enfinger, they were of the first drivers that were on fresh tires trying to get through everybody on old tires. Unfortunately for their early incident, they're not going to be able to do so. They're at the back of the pack. While the battle for the stage win is still on the line now between Ben Rhodes and Sammy Smith. A lot better restart for that of Ben Rhodes as he gets by the drivers who were on the front row of Hemrick and Smith. This could be a huge stage win for Rhodes. 18 points below the cutoff line coming in. The guy who he is trying to chase is in third, Jake Garcia. Connor Zilic is the first of those that pitted. He's now side by side for third with Garcia out of turn 6. Smith trying to put one last charge after Ben Rhodes for the stage win. Oh no! Garcia gets into Connor Zilic and they're both wide. Zilic is in the sand in turn 6 as they were battling for third. Coming to the end of the stage, Ben Rhodes will win stage 2. Sammy Smith second. Sawalic's third. Himes in fourth. And Zilic is in the gravel pit. As he's trying to get his truck refired, I'm sure he's going to need assistance to get out of there. Garcia overcooked it. He was on the inside of turn 6. He gets into Zilic. And around they go. Zilic did a great job on that restart, getting out ahead of Corey Heim. His pit crew did a great job winning the race off of pit road as well. All for naught. And for Garcia, that is a huge mistake for himself on the playoff side of things because he was looking at third place stage points with Ben Rhodes, the guy who's trying to catch him for that last playoff spot. Winning the stage, he could have only lost 2 points to him. Even if he lost the spot to Zilic, who was in the prime position to make the pass, he could have ended up fourth, got 7 points. He only loses 3 points. Instead, he's going to lose 10 points. And because he spun, he's going to be well outside the top 10. Position-wise, he's probably going to end up being behind Ben Rhodes for stage 3, even with Rhodes having to pit yet. Yeah, big mistake by Garcia. That not only could keep him out of the playoffs, but more than likely take Connor Zilic out of a shot to win the race. It's going to be really tough for that 45 to overcome a deep deficit in stage number 3. He's going to have less than 30 laps to go by the time we get this next restart in. And again, hopefully the safety crew can get him out of that gravel pit before the leaders get back around to lap him. They've gotten him out of the pit. They're going to unhook the 45. I do think he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap. Definitely going to be close, but tail end of the lead lap at that for Zilic. I'll have to look, but I believe that's the first stage win of the year for Ben Rhodes. Second. See, it's a good thing I looked. Second stage win of the season for Ben Rhodes. So he stayed out. He got some stage points in stage 1. Garcia did not. Now Garcia throws away any stage points in stage 2. Rhodes gets 10. Pretty solid points day so far for the 99 team. He's going to be within single digits going into this final stage of Garcia. Well, that was definitely chaotic, as Fox broadcast was expecting it to be. My mic probably peaked out a couple times. Apologize if that happened. At first, they were going into turn 1, and I'm not sure who got hooked on who, but Lane Riggs ended up getting sideways, and I don't know if he wheel hopped it getting down into the first turn and then broke sideways, or if he got hooked. But anyway, he was sideways, took out Timmy Hill, and then Hill got hooked into Grant Enfinger off of Riggs' front bumper once Riggs had broken loose. So those 3 drivers went wide into the first turn. The entire field gets around him. And then in turn 6 on the other end of the track is where issues arose for Connor Zilich and Jake Garcia in the battle for third. All those drivers are running in the top 10 at various points on that final lap, and the only lap under green on that restart to the end of the second stage. So stage points awarded to Ben Rhodes, who again wins his second stage of the year. Sammy Smith was second, William Sawalich third, Corey Heim fourth, Christopher Bell in fifth. Then Tanner Gray sixth, Ty Majeski seventh, Parker Kligerman eighth, Tyler Ankrum ninth, and Connor Mosack rounds out the top 10. So I believe the leaders on this next restart should be Heim and Bell. Just as we started the race, they'll probably be on the front row to begin this final stage. Unless Sawalich might have pitted during that last caution, therefore he would be the leader in the 1 when we go green to begin stage 3. I'm thinking about it. I believe Sawalich is actually going to be the leader over Heim and then Bell. Then Majeski, Kligerman, probably going to be the top 5. Haas and Legacy merge. As to cancel their case against Rick Ware Racing. Yeah, I don't really know much about the that whole ongoing legal battle with Rick Ware Racing necessarily. I don't know that Haas and Legacy would ever merge for whatever reason. Considering one's a Ford and another's a Toyota. Let's say both maybe go to Dodge in the future, but I don't know how ongoing and long-winded that legal battle again is going to be or anything of it. I don't know enough of it, so I'm not going to give much detail there. You would expect, with Hemrick being the leader on the restart, he would have fired off way more than he did. It actually looked like Frankie Muniz was the one that hooked the 34 of Lane Riggs first, which started Riggs's slide into turn 1, which then collected Timmy Hill and Grant Enfinger. Got pit stops for those who did not pit yet in stage 2.
Yeah, once again, we see Ben Rhodes, one of the lead trucks that decided to not flip the stage, going for those points. And this time, they got that stage win. He likes his truck a lot better. Still needs some more rear lateral grip, though.
Whatever.
Guys, going to take a look at the 7 of Sammy Smith. He was telling Brian Patton he's really been struggling with some rear grip in this truck. At that last caution that came out, Brian Patton did tell him to stay out as he finished out that stage, taking 4 tires and fuel here. We are keeping an eye on a lookup, guys. They're coming in for top-offs. I heard William Sawalich talk about it. I saw Corey Heim come down pit road. Who's going to make it to the end here?
That was close. You saw Daniel Hemrick was just blocked in, tried to exit his pit box and touch the tire of the crewman trying to carry it. Looked like everything was okay there. A lot of things happening on pit road, and they continue to. That's Lane Riggs' truck. Connor Zilich did make it back to pit road. He had help with a wrecker, get him out of the sand and pushed.
He's a lap down, though. He stayed in that sand long enough to lose a lap. So a lot of guys topped off here as we thought they might.
Now 30 laps to go. Christopher Bell shown as the lead.
All right. So, a little confusing to me how Bell's the race leader. Our leaderboard had Corey Heim and Sawalich at the end of the last stage ahead of Bell, so that must not have been correct. Bell might have been the first of those that got through the Connor Zilich incident. It might have slowed up a couple of trucks that were right behind Zilich and Garcia in the battle for third, and Bell might have came out the other end with the third place spot. So something might have been wrong on our raw feed, but Christopher Bell going to be the leader on the race start. Then Tyler Ankrum will be behind him in second, Sammy Smith third, William Sawalich fourth. And then Corey Heim and Andres Perez will be around row 3 in 5th and 6th. Well, we haven't taken a break yet. We'll do that for the first time. You're listening live on KRC, Craftsman Truck Series Mission 176 at the Glen. And since we're at the end of stage 2, we'll end the chat poll as well, as Connor Zilich was the vote-getting leader. Pretty tight amongst all 4 voting options. 69 votes were casted. 30% of you taking Zilich for the win. Kyle Busch at 24%. Same for somebody other than Busch, Heim, or Zilich. And Heim was led the most laps today. Only 20% of the votes. It's my pick for the race win. And many of yours, but not the most. Actually, the least of the possible options, which I'm very surprised. Goes to show how stacked the field is today. And Christopher Bell out in front will fall under the other category at that 24%. Who is going to lead? More lap trucks on pit road again. Ticker with the points is not correct based on NASCAR's alphas, both Rhodes and Garcia. That is, so NASCAR.com and the NASCAR app, we're not factoring that Stuart Friesen's done for the rest of the year because of injury. I am, because it's already been announced that Friesen's out for the rest of the year. So per the driver standings, that would move Rhodes and Garcia up. I think it didn't update on NASCAR.com yet because he technically hasn't missed a race yet. After this weekend, it should update. Because then he's not going to get a playoff waiver because he can't compete for the rest of the year. So it is correct, just not based off of what NASCAR.com is showing. I had to do the math myself to try to shift everything up to what it would have looked like coming into the day had Friesen not been in the playoffs, which, again, he won't be. I tried to put that. I couldn't explain it in great detail behind the playoff standings at the top of the screen that is scrolling, but I did try to state that it is factoring Friesen's injury.
Best time ever. MLB took over the last great Coliseum. It was a beautiful sight, and then it rained.
Well, now they know pain.
But I loved every second of it. There was so much energy there. The players just were in awe of how beautiful Bristol Motor Speedway is. Got to have a lot of good times there.
Great coverage. Got to watch it. Unfortunately, they had to make it a 2-day event.
We're choosing it up here. Got some strategy. Christopher Bell, you see, is leading this race.
You see laps since last pit. So you see Bell did not top off. The first to top off here is William Sawalich down in 7th.
What about Gian Bufamonte? He's in 5th position in that 22. He stayed out along with Brant Cruz. So it's another one of those restarts that we saw just now. Frankie Muniz locked his wheels up, and we had a big crash. What happens here?
And I think guys that haven't been up towards the front all day long, we're going to have to keep our eyes open for that same thing to happen again, Michael. Truck balance changes a little bit in those braking zones. Now you're trying to go in with guys that are quicker than you, and you're trying to keep up with their braking zones, and that's when you get the lockbacks.
Here we go. Now Stuart Friesen at home recovering from his injuries, watching his truck, the 52, lead this field to the restart on the 3rd and final stage of this race at Watkins Glen. Christopher Bell, Tyler Ankrum, Andres Perez, Matt Crafton up there, and Bufamonte and Safon. Look at this drag race. Down the hill into turn 1. They keep it clean. 3 wide behind them. Much different than the last one-lap shootout we saw.
So far, it still looks wild to me, Jamie. And we've got trucks that have been faster all day long back in that lap. See Sawalich, you said he's the best guy on this restart with enough fuel, we think, to make it. What do these guys have in plan and in mind of making it to the finish on less fuel than the others?
Brent Cruz in the 70 truck on strategy has found his way up there. Brand new race team, sold his Trans Am team, got himself a truck, and here he is running. They've hit the top 10 practice. Great speed. Now they find himself battling up in the top 10 once again.
What about the veteran Matt Crafton, champion trucker, right up in the top 5, doing a nice job here today? Had struggled early, had to make some great adjustments to that 88 truck.
did make great adjustments. And you know, if you'd have told them on lap 5 that this is where they'd be running at this stage of the race, I think Matt would be very happy about that. As we take a look at the foot cam, this is on Christopher Bell leading the race right now. And this is one of my favorite shots that we have across motorsports. Really seeing what these drivers do and the tap dance that they have to do, Michael, with the feet and how hard you got to be full throttle all the way up through the S's. And we talked about it earlier. Here in just a moment, he's going to try and grab for 4th gear. And that is a tougher shift than you think because everything's pulling to the left and you're trying to pull that gear to the right.
Let's see if he rolls off that throttle any. Nope, wide open all the way down the straightaway. We don't know that he has enough gas to get to the finish. Does he get enough of gap and then tries to start playing with that gas pedal?
And I think that's exactly the game plan, right? Get as much of a gap as you can and go into save mode if you have to, because he's, as we mentioned, one of those guys that did not stop, and that's what got him the lead and got him the track position. And it's tough to argue with crew chief Jimmy Villeneuve about the fact that he wanted the track position he's been looking for all day long.
What about Andres Perez? We talked about the speed all day long of that 77 truck. He's racing into the 2nd position. Around Chrysler Acre. Yeah. That's fast. He could go put some heat on our leader, Christopher Bell.
Andres Perez ran top 5 most of the race and then slipped back and fell outside the top 10. Now he finds himself back out up front, 1 second back from Christopher Bell.
Corey Heim, we see he's in 11th position. Just made a nice pass up to 10th, racing back there. And in territory he hasn't been all day long.
And that's exactly what I was just thinking, Michael, is a little further back than what he's been all day long. And we've heard about different drivers talk about how it's changing their trucks when they get further back in the pack, and a lot of space to make up for him right now. Amanda, what do you got on Corey?
Yeah, back to that slow stop. There was an issue with the rear end from Scott Zipadelli, but very slightly right there. But Scott said everything should be fine going forward.
Wow, he put that thing sideways through the bus stop. I don't think there's anything wrong with the truck. I just think he was trapped back in traffic and he's just fighting his way forward. You can see how hard he's driving it. Crazy.
Giving him everything he's got, and you know, the bus stop, we keep talking about it. You'll see right here. Gotta be very careful. If you catch it just wrong and he just got a little more air than he wanted to, and that correction put him off into the dirt on the right side for the exit of the bus stop chicane there. So Corey going after it right now, and I think part of what he's going after, and Paul Michael, you mentioned it, he's got to get up there and put pressure on Christopher Bell so Christopher Bell can't save fuel, because I don't think sitting here we believe Christopher Bell could make it to the end of the race as it sits right now.
Corey Heim has dominated this race, led 34 laps, but remember, he's one of those drivers that topped off, and that got him back in traffic and just having a struggle right now, back in 9th.
Trouble for Parker Kligerman in the 75 truck.
That's unfortunate. Parker, birthday today, birthday boy, not going to necessarily like this outcome here in terms of what's going on. Looks like maybe a flat tire on that truck somewhere, potentially.
Racing for Charlie Henderson's team. Charlie passed. This is the first race the truck is back. I know Parker had high hopes on his birthday to deliver for Charlie. That's a shame.
Turning 35 today. We keep it down there, make it to pit road as the leader comes around. Christopher Bell, the 2017 Craftsman Truck Series champion, back with us for a one-off.
Got to be a big smile on Stuart Friesen's face right now.
Absolutely.
He Justin Parker watching at home. See if we can see what happened to the 75. He was running in the top 10. Looks like is that a left rear?
It's left rear, yeah. Just as he got to pit road, looks like left rear, and had to nurse it all the way back around the track, and that's a long lap.
That's painful, isn't it?
Part-time team. It's the little team that could.
Fastest truck on the track. Say what you can, but Andres Perez is he's the fastest truck on the track last time by, and the second fastest truck. If you're worried about Corey Heim and his rear end or if any of his issues, he's second fast. So the 11 will be coming.
Todd.
Yeah, earlier you've been talking about Christopher Bell saving fuel, and I went over to Jimmy Villeneuve and asked him, I said, Jimmy, can you make it to the checkered flag? And his answer was, we didn't come to run behind that 11 truck, going all the way.
So it doesn't say what his confidence level is, but that's the game plan. That's
Deflecting the question.
I think I heard his confidence level in his voice with the radio we just heard when he said, "Say what you can." That was not an easy going "say what you can." That was a "give me everything that you've got right here." But with that said, I like the ball. They hadn't been able to get by Corey Hunt to this point in the race. So if you follow him and continue to do the same thing as him all day, Michael, you're not going to find a way to win the race doing that. So put it in your driver's hands. You got a veteran cup driver who knows how to save the fuel. Put him up front and try to let him save them.
Well, he's saving fuel and hoping they have enough to get there. The guy in the best position and fuel wise is running in the 4th position, and that's William Sawalich. William just made the move around Connor Bozak up to 4th. So watch this one truck. We know how talented this young cat is on the road courses, and he is in a good spot fuel wise. Has 3 or 4 seconds over. He's been fast all day long, and that's Corey Heim. But Heim, he's got pace too. You can see just 3 trucks back now.
There's Ty Majeski, guys. Welcome to the top 10. Started this race 33rd. He has slowly worked his way forward in 8th spot.
That's a good run. Good run for Majeski. Just scratched all day long to find truck position. Now he has it.
Couple of Thor Sport teammates right there. Grant Enfinger with his problems earlier in qualifying didn't get a chance to qualify again. Started in the rear.
And Grant had problems. But last time we were here at Watkins Glen with the trucks about 4 years or 3 years ago, excuse me, had problems with his truck. Didn't get very many laps and didn't get a lot of practice either. So really doing a nice job to adapt to the racetrack, learn the racetrack, and figure out where he needs to be.
Yeah, Grant, I asked Grant how he's feeling about today. He said, "Why are you asking me, Mike? I ran 2 laps here in my whole life. Go find somebody else." But he's doing a great job, as you thought, as you knew he would. Just such a great racer.
So it's a 36 truck field. Only 11 drivers here have ever raced here in a truck. So it was new to a lot of them. And to your point, Regan, it's been 4 years. So a lot has changed in this series and with the drivers. And
See right there, there's Brent Cruz. He's leading Corey Heim. They're running 6th and 7th just ahead of this battle with Matt Crackton and Gio Ruggiero. Gio's had a nice day. There goes Heim around Cruz, give him another spot.
And you see the gap there as we went to this shot in this angle. You saw the 52 of Christopher Bell going into turn 1, and it's all the way back to turn 7 before we see them.
Last time by, Regan, Christopher Bell. If you're wondering about saving fuel, no.
If he's saving, he's doing a really good job.
This is the fastest cat on the truck. There's that beautiful 52 truck. Rogers Perez did a great job at 77. And then here comes trouble. Number 11, just behind William Sawalich. Connor Mosai.
can you imagine if Christopher Bell could pull this off after what Stuart Friesen and this whole team really have been through in the last 10 days? Stuart with so many injuries, broke his pelvis in multiple places, broke his right leg. He is out for the remainder of the season. So he is watching from the sidelines, but his truck and Christopher Bell making him proud right now. As the leader crosses the line, we've reached our Craftsman 20 to go. A 2-second lead for Christopher Bell over Andres Perez.
This is good. I guarantee it looks a little calm right now. It's going to be a crazy 20 laps.
If these last 20 Craftsman laps to go or anything like the first 52, this is going to get wild.
Do we get another caution?
Ross has had issues with his fuel pickup.
That's a shame. He was up there paddling with Corey Heim for the lead of this race.
And at times, it looked like he had enough pace to at least keep up with him. And I'm not sure that he's going to make it back around based on where he's at right there. Oh, that's it in the carousel and a long way to go to get back. It's downhill through the carousel, but then it's uphill all the way to turn 6. And don't know that truck's got enough pace to get there.
Well, we talked about these last 20 laps being something to watch. It looks like he's got power. If he can keep it up out of the way, Amanda, is he going to make it?
Oh,
Well, as you see Ross just saying they're trying to make it back. It seems saying, I know that you're having issues. It's been a fuel pump issue for Ross saying time after time again. He had to come down pit road and to top off to go back. During the last pit cycle, he came down 3 different times to take fuel. So if he can make that truck back, they'll see what they can assess here and get it back out as possible. Accidents have the same trouble too.
Yep, and around goes the 88. You could see that coming, smoke everywhere, and Matt Crafton was having a heck of a run, guys. Have to look back and see what happened here.
Well, we saw such tight racing, especially back to 7th, 8th, 10th position. Matt was right there.
It's go time. Nobody's going to give an inch right now. Earlier in the race, yeah, you might give a little bit of space to somebody, but if you feel like you got the spot, Daniel Hemrick making him a little bit.
Oh, it got loose down there. Yeah. He tried to avoid contact, but
and that's a tough spot on the racetrack. No matter what, the spotters have a little bit of difficulty seeing through there. There's a bridge that goes across the track. It blocks off their view just a little bit, and that accompanied with Daniel Hemrick hitting sideways, we saw the end result.
Crafton was running 9th at the time of that incident. He's back in 21st now. Let's listen to the radio of Brad Crafton.
I got it. We're on to 30. Regan, you nailed it. You said the spotters had a tough position there, and it looked like Daniel did his best to stay off of Matt when he realized Matt didn't know he was there.
And I think that's exactly why he got sideways. You're right, Michael.
18 laps to go from Watkins Glen. Can Christopher Bell hang on and take home the win? Or will it be Andres Perez or somebody else? Stay with us.
If it stays green to the end, it's really only going to come down to a fuel situation for Christopher Bell because he's outpacing Andres Perez at this point in the run. He's got a 2.7 second lead and growing. He might have been saving a little earlier in the run, which is why Perez got that lead down to about 0.8 of a second. Then it was go time. If you had to ask me if I think Bell's going to make it on fuel to the end of the race, I think he is. I think the drivers that stayed out of the pits stayed out because they had enough caution laps, ran not only with the stage yellow, but the fact we only had one green flag lap in between cautions with the incident that took Jack Wood out of the race with a left front brake. There was something in the left front braking, whether that was a left front tire or whatever the case in the S's. The cleanup there, pit road was open. Teams that did come down in service for fuel and tires at that time. We had quite a few of them stay out and did not come back in to top off, which is why Bell is the leader. And same with basically everybody else that is in position ahead of Corey Heim. Heim is the first in the running order of those that came back down and topped off on fuel during the stage yellow. We haven't had a caution for incident to this point in stage 3. We're down to about 17 laps to go. Bell's 3 seconds ahead of Perez. Third place is Tyler Ankrum, William Sawalich 4th, Connor Mosack in 5th, Corey Hyman 6th, Brent Caruth 7th, Ty Majeski 8th, Gio Ruggiero 9th, Grant Enfinger in 10th, Tanner Gray in 11th, Sammy Smith 12th, Lane Riggs 13th, Dawson Sutton 14th, Daniel Hemrick 15th, and Jake Garcia 16th, Tony Breidinger 17th, Timmy Hill 18th, Matt Mills 19th, Frankie Muniz in 20th, Matt Crafton, 21st. Ben Rhodes, 22nd. Spencer Boyd, 23rd. 24th for Derek White. Connor Zilic did fall a lap down because of that spin on the last lap of the stage by the time that the safety team had gotten him out of the gravel pit in turn 6. He did go a lap down. So he's the first truck a lap down in 25th. And Wesley Slip is a lap down in 26th. Gian Buffamonte, 27th. Chris Buescher in 28th. Ross Chastain, 29th. Just pulled off track again with the fuel pressure issues he's been having. 30th, Chandler Smith. Parker Kligerman just pulled off track recently. He had a left rear tire failure. Not sure if it's the same issue that Chandler Smith might have had earlier in the race that dropped him 4 laps off of the lead lap or not, but Kligerman currently 9 laps down, and I don't believe he's on track in 31st. Jack Wood with that hard crash in the S's out 32nd. Mechanical failures for the rest of the leaderboard on back. Keaton Honeycutt 33rd. Raja Caruth 34th. William Lombros 35th. And Kyle Busch will finish last in 36th. Caruth missed the start of the race. He's 30 laps down but on track, so he is able to compete. Corey Heim just had a stop and go penalty in the bus stop, which tells me that he missed the braking zone. I've noticed he's been going wide through quite a few corners. He's been pushing as hard as he can to try to do whatever he can to cut into the Christopher Bell race lead. In doing so, he overdrove it. Too much speed too late into the braking zone. Couldn't get the truck to slow up in time. Once his truck came to a complete stop, then he was able to get rolling again in that excess road. Out of the bus stop, he lost 3 positions in doing so, and he lost over 10 seconds of time. He was 7 seconds off the lead. Now he's 17 seconds back in 9th. He was in 6th. 15 laps to go. Bell's lead is 3.8 seconds. Perez does have the fastest lap of the race, 72.761. Couple hundreds quicker than Bell, and that was the most recent lap, 10 laps ago, ran early in the restart, which is when he was cutting down Christopher Bell's race lead. So it's going to be up to fuel for a lot of the drivers at the front of the field. Can they make it to the end? Again, I would like to think that they can, but I guess we're not going to know for sure until that checkered flag ends up flying. Having a Cup regular leading the way here for Christopher Bell, that could be huge. And what a redemption story it would be for this 52 team with Friesen out for injury if they're able to go to victory lane. Awesome that they were able to get Christopher Bell to step up on a late notice to run this race truck this weekend, and here he is leading it late. Thought SVG and Zilch were running today. SVG is not running in the truck race. Zilch is running, though. Him and Garcia got tangled up battling for 3rd in the last lap of stage 2, so that dropped Zilch off the lead lap. That's why he's a lap down right now. And Garcia was able to stay on the lead lap. He is currently 16th. Brent Cruz, Gio Ruggiero battling back and forth for 7th. Coming up on 13 laps left, this time by for Bell. It doesn't really look like Bell's doing anything out of the ordinary to try to save gas necessarily. It looks like he's just running his own race right now. And he's extending the lead still. And we've got more problems on the racetrack. The 5 truck of Tony Breidinger with an issue. Huge fire coming out of the back of that race truck as she works her way out of turn 7 towards the entrance to pit road. Truck is still rolling. Some major flames coming out of the back of the race truck. Flames are not there anymore. Mostly smoke coming out of the back of the race truck now, but there was a giant fireball there for a second. Truck is still rolling.
Not wanting the gas pedal at all. He's just coasting all he can.
You want him back safe. That's got it. So many
Transmission,
incidents
engine,
today.
or whatever it may be. It's certainly unfortunate. Tony was having a good day.
I think she was 17.
Well, let's do a reset, Jamie.
Yes, 13 laps
I'm
to
almost out
go.
of breath. This has been wild.
Christopher Bell's taking a deep breath right now. Andres Perez just behind him. See how this all shakes out on the other side as cleanup continues. We will step aside from Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Flames were able to go out as quickly as they did. They do have a button or a pressure inside the car, switch if you will, that can try to help put out fires in the event of what we just saw happening. Sometimes not necessarily enough. She was just kind of letting it coast down the hill to pit road and far enough to get into the garage area before coming to a complete stop. Obviously, again, the truck was not on fire anymore at that point. Otherwise, she would have been climbing out. But Caution is out on the racetrack with 13 laps to go. This will set up a late race restart. This is our first caution for incident in stage 3. We've had 1 caution for incident in each stage now. So 5th yellow of the day. We've had 7 lead changes. Bell's led all the green flag laps in stage 3 so far. 19 laps led for him. Corey Heim has led for 34, but being in 7th place when the caution flag came out, he's got a shot still. Wouldn't have had a shot if it stayed green to the end. He was 17 seconds off the lead after blowing the bus stop a couple laps before the yellow. Lost a few more positions and lost about 10 seconds of time. Whatever happens on the restart, not only he has to stay out of trouble, but he's going to have to make quick work of the trucks in front of him. And I believe Connor Zillich will get the free pass with the caution flag coming out. He was the first truck a lap down in 25th. Spencer Boyd might have fallen off the lead lap right before the caution flag came out. And if he did, then Boyd will get the free pass in 21st. Have to wait for FS1 to come back from their commercial break, see if they've got a better look down at it. Why is Zillich a lap down again? He had an issue with Jake Garcia. Contact, final lap of stage 2. Both trucks went around in turn 6. And he was stuck in the gravel pit by the time they ended up pulling him out under caution, as he was unable to drive away. That's how he fell off the lead lap. I haven't been to Dave & Buster's in a long time. I've only been there once. Was it the one in Cleveland, or near Cleveland? I think I was in high school. I was on crutches when I was there the only time, so it would have been my sophomore year, about 16 years old.
And we have plenty more to come. You see Xfinity and Cup are on track tomorrow. The Xfinity race at 3 p.m. on CW. And Sunday, the Cup Series will be on USA at 2 Eastern. And I believe it's going to be gorgeous weather all weekend. So that is a treat for all the campers, all the people who have shown out. You know, the drivers, they love to come up here. The fans love it. It's just beautiful. And you're from this neck of the woods, Regan?
I am, and was actually up there about 3 weeks ago, Jamie, and central New York, upstate New York. It's just a beautiful region, and glad to see they're going to get good weather for racing this weekend. Some of my earliest memories at a racetrack were at Watkins, Glen, and they have stuck with me for a lifetime.
Did you ever watch this guy, Michael Waltrip, race there?
I did a few times, and I think I might have seen his first race there, actually, potentially.
It's funny, I raced there for the first time as a rookie in Cup in '86, and Regan was 3 years old.
Not quite 3 yet in '86.
Running around in the infield, having a good time. Great memories. This track has just always been a special place for NASCAR, and the fans make it that way. Just feeling all the energy.
That's right. So much energy and, you know, so much emotion. Regan wanted to win at his home track so much that when things went sideways,
oh man,
we saw the side of
Regan
Regan.
is fiery, isn't he? He loses his mind sometimes. And this was a chance for you to win at home.
This was, and you see the restart there and the contact and
Tony, Ty Dillon.
Every opportunity we get to show this video pops back up again, and you know what? It was.
You didn't like the hat he was wearing.
Well, yeah, it was. We went ahead and removed it for just a little bit, and I hope nobody can lip read right now either. I'm sure that both of us are saying things we didn't really need to be saying, but that's part of the passion of motorsports. That's part of the passion of what these guys are doing. And listen, we may see that before this race is over. I do have to point out on that video, I actually went to Brendan Gaughan and had a conversation with him prior to going down to Ty Dillon, because I had another incident later on in the race as well. It was a busy day.
You were fun to cover.
By fun, do you mean?
A lot more fun being my teammate here.
Do you feel like it's been a while since we introduced the Craftsman 20 to go?
It's been a while.
Here we are with 10 to go, a total reset here. We know Christopher Bell is saving max fuel now. We also believe, I believe, Regan, the brake issues that the dominant truck today has had, Corey, they got to be better now as you cool things down.
This is got to be a good break for him. He's getting a little bit of air to those brakes, getting them cooled off just a little bit. Michael, you're 100% correct. Christopher Bell, max save mode, that's going to work out well for him. I don't know that it's going to be enough quite yet, though. I don't know how confident I would be in that yet.
I'm watching you with your calculator, and you're getting close, but you're not quite there yet. But just remember, keep your eye on the one truck. The one truck of Williams Squalage, he is in the best shape fuel-wise, and he's got a fast truck.
Pits are open. We have a couple takers from deeper in the field.
Is that Gio Ruggiero, the first one leading them down?
Gio
Ruggiero, and I see Sammy Smith.
Connor Zilic.
at the 45. See all that speedy dry. Tony Breidinger had that big fire. She brought it down pit lane. There was a lot of oil on the track.
This will be a chance for Connor Zilic to get back on the lead lap. Reset his race after that spin. There's the 45.
Gosh, he was fun to watch. So they went around, had his problems. Gio's had a really solid day for the rookie here for the first time.
Getting a report that Spencer Boyd was ahead of Connor Zilic and will get to free pass. That's a tough break for Connor, man. I thought that was going to be fun to watch him come from the back. Maybe there's another caution ahead of us.
An issue here for Ben Rhodes. Slow on the right rear. Something wrong underneath.
He hadn't made very many moves, Jamie, since he won that second stage. He was stuck just outside the top 20, so you can see they're making a major.
They can't make the adjustment. Something's broken underneath, it looks like.
And you see the crew member, he's putting a jack stand underneath that truck just to make sure if he goes under there to start working on it and something happens that doesn't fall on him. Todd, what do you got on Ben Rhodes right now?
Yeah, Regan, about 10 laps ago, Ben actually came down pit road under green. He thought he has a block train issue. Doesn't know what it is. Doesn't know if it's the gear or the drive shafts vibrating, but it's got a bad vibration. They don't know what it is. Doug George said, "Don't worry about it. Just keep going." But obviously they came in to check it out.
Well, and that's good information to have there. And I think now you look at their strategy early on in the race, and it definitely is going to pay off that they did what they had to do to get those points early on by doing a little bit of an alternate strategy for everybody. And everything he can get from this point on is just going to be gravy if he's got this kind of an issue.
This team has overachieved today. Hopefully they can finish it off with this 99th truck. We got them lined up, Regan. Watch this.
9 laps to go here after the restart.
Can we hold our breath for 9 laps? That seems like a long time.
I feel like I've been in the gym for the last 30 minutes. I'm worn out. This has been so crazy, so much to follow, and so much fun.
Guys, look at this front row. Christopher Bell.
Going to be coming up on 9 laps to go in this race when we do go green around this 2.45 mile road course. Christopher Bell out in front. Andres Perez in second, who does have the fastest lap of the race. Going to try to hang there with the Cup Series veteran. Sawallich, Ankrum around row 2. Tough season in the Xfinity Series full-time for Sawallich. Haven't seen him in the trucks much this season. Ran part-time more last year than this year, but having a shot. Showing some road course racing prowess of his own. One truck pulling off wide as we get to the restart back around turn 6. Green flag is back in the air. Bell nails the restart. One truck nails the outside wall out of turn 7. That's Grant Enfinger after contact with Lane Riggs. Enfinger's left front is smoking as they pour down into the first turn. Everybody's splitting around him. We'll see if they can make it back around without a caution coming out. I didn't see any debris fall off of either one of those two race trucks initially. Out of the Esses, Bell's leads about 0.8 of a second over Andres Perez. So Walsh was able to get by Ankrum for third through the Esses. And Corey Heim in a side-by-side battle with Connor Mosack for fifth. I'm going to be on the outside of the braking zone, but he does outbrake the 81 of Mosack. So fifth place it is for Corey Heim as he's on the attack trying to run down the race leader Christopher Bell. Bell's got some buffer cars between himself and Heim, which is good for him right now, but a lot of laps still remaining. Brent Cruz making a pass on Gio Ruggiero. Back for 9th place. Those drivers just pitted for 4 fresh tires. And they restarted just outside the top 10, so maybe have to look out for Cruz and Ruggiero late if those tires are going to make a huge advantage. Heim pulling out of line into the first turn as he makes a move on Tyler Ankrum for 4th place. Uses the low line, maybe runs Ankrum a bit wide, forcing his way clear. No contact was made in the pass. Heim needed to make quick work of him, and he was going to make sure he was going to clear that first attempt to try to make that pass. He's 2.5 seconds off our race leader. Bell still extending his lead over 2nd and 3rd. One truck turned hard into the outside wall, coming out of the S's. It's Tanner Gray. Torpedoes back across the racetrack. Caution flag is out immediately. The entire front end of that truck is sheared off. Brent Cruz got a piece of him as well in the aftermath. That was a pretty violent hit for Tanner Gray.
Hanging it into you. And if that's what happened, and I never looked if that's what happened, a block, or maybe someone just got aggressive and got a hold of Tanner. We'll see what happened.
Definitely not an area of the track that we see incidents a lot.
Block to the
Tom
left.
Majeski behind him.
And you're right, Michael. That was a double move, basically. And Majeski said, okay, I'm to the outside of you. I'm not going to lift again right now. And
that, that's a hard one as a competitor to figure out. You make one block, get by with it. You make the second one and you get wrecked. It's almost hard to blame the guy.
yeah, and that's there. You hate to talk driver code or anything like that, right? But the first move you could deal with. It's part of racing. I was always a believer. The second move, okay, I've already said you got me on this first one, but if I make a second one, I'm going to stay put. And Ty appeared to stay put there. And let's see if we can hear what Ty had to say here.
All right.
Crew chief, but got to talk between the crew chief and driver there about what happened, and then the concern for Tanner making sure he was okay.
Yeah, and I certainly don't think there was anything malicious there. I think, as we just talked about it, that's a racing deal. You can only avoid somebody else's truck so much before you have to worry about your truck, and you have to worry about, the position you're trying to put yourself in. And Ty said it, he just couldn't get out of the way quick enough.
We will step aside as we remain under caution for this incident. Huge hit for Tanner Gray. He was able to drive it back to pit road.
I was shocked the way he had hit the wall and the car basically torpedoed back into the racing line, that he was able to recover in such a quick facet that the truck was pointed back in the right direction without really getting contacted by anybody else. Brent Cruz did get a little bit of a piece of his back bumper and it came back across, and it looked like Cruz had a lot of damage. Hopefully he can stay out on the track and doesn't have any tire rubs or anything of that nature, because Cruz was scored in the 9th place position. Corey Heim on that last restart picked up 2 spots from 6th to 4th. And now he'll be in row 2. I would imagine he'll be on the outside of row 2 if I had to guess. We'll have to wait to see what the choose roll will look like when they do get the 1-to-go signal. And he's going to have a few more laps to try to catch Bell if it stays green to the end following what could be the final restart of the day. Yeah, Gray definitely came across his nose. They were stating on the broadcast, I agree with Regan Smith and Michael Waltrip. Just one block too many. He turned himself off the front of Majeski's truck. The risk of throwing a block is if you throw a bad block, that is going to happen. Yeah, definitely a dangerous area. I mean, there's a lot of dangerous areas around this racetrack, but he's very lucky that when his truck came back across the track initially after contact with the outside wall, that he didn't get hit by anybody else. I've seen one pretty hard hit earlier today for Jack Wood. After having a left front brake or a flat tire, whatever the case was, sparks are flying from out underneath that race car, and that was in the middle of the Esses where he hit driver's side door first into the Armco barrier. Only 19 trucks on the lead lap, so Zilich did not get the free pass during the second to last yellow. This yellow, he will get the free pass. Spencer Boyd fell off the lead lap just before the caution that came with 13 laps to go. So now with 7 to go, he is going to be back out there. And Christopher Bell going to have to endure another restart. He's done a great job through the restart zone hanging on to the lead. But again, Corey Heim, who speed-wise is competitive with that of the 52, just inching closer and closer.
Glen. And this has been quite a wild ride. That last restart, that is one that these guys have to keep in mind. And Regan, we were just talking, you got to keep one thing in mind. There's not one place to worry about, but 2 different places to think about on this restart.
And it's crazy when you change a restart zone. It really was done with the idea, I think, of making turn 1 a little bit less chaotic than what we see. And we're going to take a look at the most recent restart that we just had, and we mentioned it looked like Grant Enfinger got some damage, and you'll see right here. To the outside of him was the 34 Lane Riggs. He gets turned headfirst into the wall, and now both he and Lane Riggs all kind of damage on those trucks. So what's happened is that restart zone's been shifted back closer to between turn 6 and 7. Well, they've got enough speed as they're coming off of turn 7. These trucks want to carry all the way out to the wall, and there's just not enough room. You've got to either lift, or if somebody's to your outside, you're going to get hooked into the wall, and that creates a problem in turn 7 as well as turn 1. And
Be careful what you ask for. Right?
Exactly.
We need to calm turn 1 down. Well, let's see what we can do about making turn 7 a little bit crazier.
And I can promise you that there is a number of Cup and Xfinity drivers right now that are either at their hotels or motorhomes, wherever they might be tonight in upstate New York, and they're watching this race, and they're taking notes to make sure they understand what's going to happen on Saturday and Sunday as well for those races.
So Connor Zilich was the free pass. That'll put 20 trucks on the lead lap.
Did you say Connor Zilich was the free pass?
I did. You were ahead of your time, Michael.
I was predicting. I was predicting he would be the free pass, and it's going to be fun to watch him come from the back. Darn it! Regan, how's your calculator? How are we feeling about the laps of caution? And we've got to say, this is if we don't have overtime. Remember, we tend to run into each other a lot late. But right now, you're starting to think he's okay.
If I'm Jimmy Villeneuve on top of Christopher Bell's pit box, I am feeling better each lap that passes, and I see my truck going by, not quite up to speed. But the other thing that I'm looking at as this is taking place is the 11 truck of Corey Heim, who we know is in a pretty good position on fuel, is going to start on the second row and has gotten himself up to 4th position. So maybe I'm not feeling quite as good with that happening, because he appears to have some speed again in that 11 truck as well.
I still don't believe the fuel is going to work out. I mean, I know we got a lot of caution laps, but there you see Corey Heim's led 34 laps. He's in great shape on fuel compared to his competition, as is William Sawalich. He's been really strong in that 1 truck. We saw Brent Cruz peel off from the 9th position to pit road. He had pitted on lap 38, just like Perez had 1 lap after C. Bell, but he felt like he needed to come get gas.
You're making me more nervous, Michael. I got to be honest. I'm usually much more negative than you, and when you're worried about it, I'm really worried again. Todd, help us out, Todd. What have you got? Have you got some intel on this?
Well, I don't have any intel, but I got the guy here that does have the intel. Jimmy Villeneuve, you got to be breathing a little easier with all these cautions.
I've been bleeding all day with the driver that I have in this truck. Yeah, just proud of everyone at HFR. Obviously, we're all missing our brother that's sitting at home. But we come here for one thing only, is bring this chicken home to Sue, and that's what we're here to do.
There you have it. A lot of confidence.
Does have a good man behind the wheel. If anybody can do it, it's him. But man, he last pitted on lap 37.
And I love the confidence, right? He said he's been breathing easy about the fuel all day and no big deal. So maybe we're thinking wrong here, but some of the numbers just didn't seem like they were quite adding up.
Well, we've seen drivers that had that amount of fuel come to pit road. So it isn't just us, Regan. There's a lot of folks that are nervous about this situation.
They're choosing it up. How about Andres Perez, guys? Just can't say enough about this run and the homework, the time that he put into figuring this place out, getting better at road courses. His best career finish is 7th. Right now, he is sitting 2nd.
And no matter what happens, what a day this can be for him. If he finishes this off and keeps it up there in the top, even just the top 5, what a day it is. But you got to believe he's wanting more right now as he's sitting on the front row.
Well, it's been such...
Definitely be a wild card win on the point standing side of it. Really the only driver running full time in the Truck Series that is in the top 5 without a win so far this season. Then Connor Mosack at 6 would be the next highest. Majeski, Ruggiero 7th and 8th. So Heim outside of row 2 for the restart as expected. It'll be Christopher Bell into the restart zone first. 4 laps to go. This time by at the start-finish line. Great restart for Bell. He's all clear out of 7 and coming for the start-finish line. Corey Heim quickly trying to fight for the inside of the racetrack. He's going to get there, settling himself in line. Single file. Behind William Sawalich, his teammate for this weekend. Andres Perez locking the brakes up from 2nd. Doing everything he could to charge the corner as hard as possible and gain time on Bell. He ended up losing time to him. And Bell's already over half a second in the lead. Out of the S's side by side. Very tight. Majeski contact with Gio Ruggiero. Majeski having to lift to get out of the gas before something bad happens. Surrenders the 7th place battle. Side by side for 2nd into the bus stop. Between the 77 and the 1 that get together. Contact is made. And Heim's got a free path to get to 2nd place. Off-roading through the bus stop for both Sawalich and Perez. Neither one wanted to give an inch in the battle for 2nd through the bus stop. And that is a clear pathway for the 11 truck. Can he now run down the 62? 3 to go this time by. Perez still settled inside the top 10. He battles back past Daniel Hemrick for 7th. Another truck turned against the wall and another hard crash. This time it's Ben Rhodes in the 99. Out of turn 6.
Ben, keep in mind, it's just on pit road and told his team he had an issue, thought maybe it was a drivetrain issue with a severe vibration on that truck, and not sure quite where it happened, but it looks like the left rear is off of that truck.
Yeah.
Do you know the team? They said a wheel came off.
It went rolling fast toward our camera.
We saw that jack stand underneath the right rear of the truck.
Can't quite tell from that angle right there, and certainly Ben's got the window net down, so that's the first thing and most important thing. Window net is down on Ben Rhodes, but
This is one benefit of stage racing. He has points to show for his day because the way that it just ended for Ben Rhodes, he would have nothing. So he got those 10 extra points for winning stage 2. Yeah, he'll need some help. He climbs from his truck, and Christopher Bell knows he's got another shot at another restart, and Heim is going to start next to him.
Big hit for Ben, and you see he walks away.
you see the
The left rear just comes off.
left
Wow.
rear comes off, and
He gets hard into that wall.
tough to tell, Michael, but it looks like that left rear still got parts attached to it. Like, not like the lug nuts came off, but like something maybe
Like the hub broke.
Yeah.
This is going to be a lengthy cleanup, as I talked about overtime. But you can see all the debris flying.
Let's go on board. Listen to this.
Wow. Glad Ben hopped out of that truck.
to see Penn get his hands off the steering wheel. And, you know, once you know that you're in that position on a road course, you got quick steering boxes on these trucks, just go ahead and get your hands off the wheel. Don't get wrapped up in a spoke. And just got to believe it that goes back to what we heard on pit road about Ben having the vibration. Todd reported about a vibration and thinking something was going bad in the drive line, and gotta almost imagine that that's where the problem was, and they just didn't quite find it and know what it was.
Look at Connor Mozak, guys, who fought his way, gained a couple spots after that restart. He's up here to run. Corey Heim, which he did in the Arkham Menards series.
Well, also Gio Ruggiero.
Right.
Talk about Ben's point situation. Gio has just been solid today. Took some chances along the way with stage points and pitted late, and now he's in a position to go not only get some points, but you see that 17 truck. He's running in 6th position. He's thinking maybe we're going to win this race.
Pressure tires. He was very good at Lime Rock a couple weeks ago or a couple races ago, and yeah, why not, Gio?
Last pitted on lap 62, so we will be in NASCAR overtime here as we sit under caution for the 7th time. What are you hearing, Amanda?
Yeah, when you guys say, why not Gio? I know he's saying the same thing to himself. I was catching up with him at driver intros, and I was talking to him about his rookie season, and he said, well, I don't have a win yet. So that is the fighter that is in Gio Ruggiero. But I also talked to Lane Riggs today. You know, he's still currently the reigning rookie of the year. And I asked him, who out there are you looking at towards the future? And he said, no question, Gio Ruggiero. That guy will be in contention sooner or later.
He's the real deal. Finished 2nd at Daytona, finished 3rd at Lime Rock, our last road course race. So backing that up with this performance, sitting 6th right now.
Listen, impressive. This has been such a. We knew Watkins Glen was a disappointing ring, but now let's throw overtime on top of things.
Let's listen to Christopher Bell's radio.
Had our number before you started saving during that green flag run. So how did you feel about that? Oh, we did correct. Probably killer. You looked at flirting it.
Now, what number? The number for overtime? 2 overtimes?
Or was that the number just to get to the completed scheduled distance, which is what it sounded more like to me?
So here's our NASCAR overtime, a 2-lap shootout.
And I think the part that can make all these guys nervous is a yellow flag will cause another restart. So
Absolutely.
definitely going to be be a little bit of a nail biter. And oh, by the way, look at the 2 trucks that are going to start on the front row. I think we've got what it took a lot to get to this point, Michael, but we got the exact race and battle that we kind of thought this race would come down to today between Christopher Bell and Corey Heim, and man, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Corey Heim took a little detour to get back here. It has been a smooth day for Christopher Bell. This team is they've been on it, on pit road, behind the wheel, doing it for Stuart Friesen, Jess Friesen, Parker Friesen. It's just a family affair. We're all thinking about you guys as you watch from home. We'll see how this one shakes out. Let's listen to Corey Heim's radio now.
52 things are right on their number here. So keep your eyes open. Be ready.
They're listening to radios like we are.
Yeah, this overtime is. I don't think it's going to work well for Bell. I hope I'm wrong. Everybody's pulling for Stewie and that team, but man, it's just going to be a difficult stretch. It appears. I know one thing that Christopher Bell wants overtime to do is start right. Let's start right now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's don't mess around anymore. I think the track's clear. We need to go racing.
So we'll go green next time by.
And let's go back for 1 second to that radio to Corey Heim, and that was from crew chief Scott Zividelli, and telling him just to keep his eyes open and pay attention. The good news is Corey Heim should be restarting to the outside of Christopher Bell, and if that's the case, if he can stay door to door with him through turn 7, he won't have to keep his eyes quite as open, because if he has a problem, it's likely going to happen when we saw Daniel Hemrick have the problem as they got up onto turn 7. And then where he'll have to really pay attention is once we get up to speed, if he's right on the back bumper of Christopher Bell, if he's not able to get the lead or if they're battling it out, then you get to the S's and some of the areas where we see trucks run out so frequently because of how the fuel sloshes around in the back and what takes place back there. And that's where it could get a little bit hairy, and that's where he's really going to have to be on top of it if that 52 truck does stumble.
And you see how aggressively these guys are shaking those tires. They want to get those things as clean as they can possibly have them. So they're going to be full out. There isn't any fuel saving now. This is all about going as fast as you can, being as aggressive as you can on these tires, freshening them up, choosing properly, and hoping the guy in front of you doesn't run out of gas so you got somewhere to go.
We're sitting here and we're talking about it. We're not on the racetrack, and I'm nervous, Michael. I'm nervous right now for all of these guys. This has just been a lot of fun.
So Corey Heim will line up beside Christopher Bell. Corey 5 laps better on fuel.
Might be in store for an overtime thriller, if you will, here for the Craftsman Truck Series in their return to upstate New York, Watkins Glen International. Christopher Bell versus Corey Heim, the two drivers who started on the front row at the beginning of the day, are on the front row for what could be the final restart at the end of the day. And it will be Bell being the control truck, who is in a fuel predicament, to say the least. Less fuel in his truck than everybody else. Tire wear, about the same. It's all about pace, and does the 52 have enough to make it to the end? He'll be able to launch first in the restart zone just before the entry to turn 7. And he waits until the back half of it to go. Green flag back in the air. Connor Mosak trying to stay tight on the back bumper of the 52 truck, as they exit turn 7. Heim staying door to door as they cross the start-finish line. Heavy side drafting between Bell and Heim. Into turn 1. Bell slides the rear tires. He goes wide. Just stays off of the 11. Corey Heim comes out of turn 1 with the race lead. Side by side in a tight battle for second as Bell holds on just narrowly ahead of Tyler Ankrum. Mosak loses a couple positions on the restart. He is in a side-by-side battle right now with Giro Ruggiero for 4th. Tire rub on the left front as well. Ongoing with the 52 of Bell. Race is not over yet. Still a lap and a half to go for Bell to try to run down Heim. Mosak goes around out of the bus stop. We stay green for now. Oh, hard hit into the tire wall out of the exit of the bus stop. Caution's out immediately now. And I would imagine that Christopher Bell's going to be short on gas, and he's probably going to have to pit here. I don't know how many more laps he could go. Caution is out in the first overtime restart. There was so much dust out of the bus stop, it's hard to tell who exactly crashed. But 2 trucks ended up in the tire wall. Another hard impact. One of them backed it in violently. And without wasting any extra laps under caution, Bell's coming into the pits as pit road is closed. And that will take him out of a shot to win.
Bell did, but he's not saved 1 ounce. He's been running flat out every lap, trying to get up through the field. So don't think this is necessarily good for everybody.
And that's a great point, Michael. It could be getting close for all of these guys right now. And if that is the case, Gio Ruggiero had pitted on lap 62, took his tires then, and could be in the best position here.
And I don't, we talk about foreshadowing. Hunter Zillich is up to 7, and he pitted that way after everybody. Might he win this race still? Is that a stretch? Look at that 45 truck. He's in a position to do so.
He's done some battle today. He was stuck in the sand pit. He went to the beach for a while, got help out, was a lap down.
Let's see what caused this mess, Jamie. You see Bell, but then it goes crazy. You see the dirt flying in the air. Around goes Mosak. And when that happens, you just can't see where you're going.
And there was see the 26 of Dawson Sutton there. Thankful that those tire barriers are there. Just came through there with a lot of pace. Couldn't quite tell how he got turned around from that angle.
I think he just tries to clear the wreck and just can't see where he's going.
Another big hit there as they have to repair the tire barrier.
Busy day for the
Consider red flagging this
safety
race
team.
so that we don't have these gas issues. But I guess they're not considering that.
Pits will be open this time. We'll have any takers.
And this is where you get a little bit of a question mark, right? Does anybody think that's up there, who pitted with, on lap 42 perhaps? And I know we got Tyler Ankrum who pitted on lap 37. You see on the left side of the screen there, laps since last pit. Tyler Ankrum, 37 laps, and under green, we thought maybe they could do 30, 31 laps today, somewhere in that ballpark. And that was with a slower pace. So got to be wondering if they don't just say, hey, we tried and it didn't work out. The cautions didn't fall our way. We better come get the fuel right now and try and gain as many spots as we could. And then you get back to a guy like Ty Majeski, William Sawalich. What are they thinking? I know Corey Himes not pitting. He's out there. They're whatever they got is what they got in the 11 truck right
Looks
now.
like Ankrum's considering coming in. And I think that's a great call. He just saw the leader, or second place runner, Christopher Bell, pit on the same lap he did, and there goes Ankrum. Who else stops? And if that's the case, where does that put Connor Zilich? How close can he get to the front row?
Should be 6 now.
Gio Ruggiero in third's got to be feeling pretty good about his situation. Last pitted on lap 62.
This is getting interesting.
Corey Heim. How close? Five-time winner on the season. Can he hang on for another NASCAR overtime and pick up another win, or will it be a first-time winner? Gio Ruggiero. William Sawalich. So many stories. We'll step aside, but we'll be back for NASCAR overtime for the second time and see how this one shakes out from Watkins Glen.
Overtime number 2 upcoming. Corey Heim, Gio Ruggiero, the teammates will be on the front row. Gio outside the playoff cut line, coming into the race today. A win would obviously punch his ticket to the playoffs, but he is in a situation where he was on the verge of being in a must-win scenario coming in, and Jake Garcia having no stage points today. Ruggiero getting a handful of them. Gio outrunning Jake Garcia throughout the race. Ben Rhodes, although he was ahead of Ruggiero coming into the day, scores 15 stage points, including a stage win, is out. His left rear tire came off. That's what forced the first overtime. And a pretty hard hit for Rhodes. He's going to end up with a 25th place finish, more than likely. He might fall back a couple spots. I'm not sure how many of these drivers that are off track return to the racetrack will have enough laps with these overtimes to be able to pass Rhodes in the running order. So he's currently 25th. He could lose another spot or two before the end. Dawson Sutton, Andres Perez, who were just involved in this incident, 20th, 21st. We've had a lot of mechanical failures today, so quite a few drivers are not going to be able to see the end of this race. Connor Mosak, who spun out coming out of the bus stop because of the caution coming out immediately after the fact and regathering himself as quickly as he did. He restarted third. He only fell back to 8th with the spin. Connor Zilich is going to move up one more spot, I believe, to 6th or 7th for the next restart. And he had the free pass, I believe, after the Ben Rhodes incident, which forced the first overtime. So he went from wherever he restarted up to 7th. Obviously missed the incidences that took place in the bus stop, which gained him a handful of positions, but made some passes, I'm sure, up and to that point on the racetrack. Obviously, he would have pitted for tires during the free pass situation because he wouldn't have ended up losing any time. He would have had to restart last truck in the lead lap anyway. So he's got fresher tires. He's in 7th. It's going to be tough to get to the lead from 7th place. But I guess if anybody in this field today would be able to do it, Connor Zilic would probably be the one. In the event that we get another caution and we end up having a third overtime, then he might be in an even better spot, assuming he's not the cause of this next caution if we do see one.
Then we will lock in our 10 for the playoffs. Looking forward to that. It'll be the three of us. It's Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, right here on FS1. How about the playoff leaderboard right now? Drivers in yellow locked in. And we have some open opportunity for positions.
And as we look at that playoff leaderboard, Jamie, and we think about what's going on in this race today at Watkins Glen, and I hope Richmond is just as exciting because we've been out of breath for most of this, but you see the 17 of Gio Ruggiero sitting there 29 points below that cut line as they are right now. He's in second place right now, and he has got, we know for a fact that he is the furthest up truck that can make it to the end on fuel. Corey Heim with all these yellows and overtimes, we're not exactly sure where that's going to be right now. How good of a job has he done saving going around the racetrack? The one thing, Michael, I'll say about Watkins Glen, one of the easiest racetracks to save fuel at because there's so much uphill and downhill. You can coast a lot around Watkins Glen, and you can pick specific spots to power the engine up, get the momentum rolling forward, and let it roll the rest of the way down some of the hills. So this is going to be exciting, and it's good. It could potentially have massive playoff implications here.
And it could also have a massive another crash because it's just very aggressive. Look at there. Gio goes to the bottom, lines up behind Corey Heim. We haven't seen that from the front row.
Yeah, it is going to be a little interesting. Gio Ruggiero not taking the front row. Daniel Hemrick, when he was on the front row for a restart at the end of stage 2, he either missed a shift or spun his tires out of turn 7. He lost a lot of time. That was the last time he was in this situation. And now he's on the front row with a shot to win here late. If he can somehow, some way keep pace with the driver who's had the most pace, Corey Heim, here today. A little bit of damage on the front of Majeski, nearly getting involved in a couple of incidences late. Still looking for his first win in his championship defending season. This will be our second overtime restart. Mentioned in the chat, we're kind of running out of daylight here. If we see another caution, you wonder what this race could lead up to, ending under darkness. Hopefully we don't see another yellow, and this is the finish. Green flag for Heim. Out of turn 7, he's going to have the lead. Ruggiero side by side for second right now with Daniel Hemrick. They'll drag race into the first turn. The chance that Sawalich might pull out a line on both trucks, he attempted to, but he is not going to be able to do anything. He sandwiched 3 wide middle between Ruggiero and Majeski for third. As they come out of turn 1, it'll be Corey Heim in the race lead, then Daniel Hemrick in second, Gio Ruggiero third, William Sawalich fourth, Ty Majeski in fifth. And smoke coming out of the back of the 19, and I think he has a fender rub on the left rear. Still going to press hard, trying to hope he makes it to the end. Another spin for Mosak in the bus stop, this time contacted from behind by, I believe, Ty Majeski. And in the exact same area we saw the last caution, we're going to see another yellow and a third overtime upcoming here at Watkins Glen. That was almost a carbon copy to what we just saw. Mosak going for a spin out of the bus stop. Drivers trying to miss the incident in the dust, settling from when Mosak kind of came up out of the grassy area, and a crash into the same tire wall that these safety officials just adjusted, and now they're going to have to readjust again.
You're not ready to bring it in yet.
Well, there's really no reason to bring it in, right? You've got the 5 wins. You've already locked up the regular season, so the only thing you've got left to race for right now is those 5 playoff points that come with a win. So stretch it as long as you can, even if it means running out under caution. You just keep going for it at this point.
This is
But Gio Ruggiero, he's on that running third right now. How hard do you push? Because you have to think about points, but you also know that if you win the race, you are in.
he don't care about a point at all. At this point,
You go win.
it's just all about getting the checkered flag.
Control your own destination. That's the best way to do it.
Cleanup continues on that tire barrier. Again, we've seen that a couple of times today. This is just one of those spots.
It all started when Connor Mozak, I think, went around, and then that
Jake
just blocked
Garcia.
everything up, you know?
Yeah. Just very, very similar to the previous restart. Once one goes around, you just don't have anywhere to go. It looks like contact from Ty Majeski jumping off the curb into Connor Mozak, and it's just, Michael, it's so tough to go too wide through that bus stop in any scenario unless both vehicles are just going so slow, and that's not going to happen at this stage of the race.
You saw right there, Majeski into the side of gauge 1. And then, whoa, this one's just barely seeing it like bring anything or not, so fortunate.
On board with Christopher Bell, of course.
Somebody broke going into the bus stop.
Just a little bit after coming to get the.
Jake Garcia, by the way, one of the trucks that got involved in the incident. So now pretty much every driver around the bubble outside of Gio Ruggiero to this point has gotten involved in an accident today.
You jumped right there, Majeski into the side of gauge 1. And then, whoa, it's just barely sneaking like bring anything or not, so fortunate.
On board with Christopher Bell, of course, and they'll go back in the pack just a little bit after coming to get the fuel. And
does he sneak through? Heck yeah, clear all around. He survives to race another lap. Put
Seabell in 9th.
Put Seabell into the talk about who's going to win this race.
So Zilich was only able to make up 1 spot on that last restart.
William Sawalich, he was involved in that little dust up in the bus stop. He's battled his way back inside the top 5. Watch that one truck.
So the 9th caution on the day.
That's got to be some kind of record.
I feel like we were so calm in the first stage, were we not?
You don't think, the guys see the laps are winding down. We're in overtime. The sun is setting. They're just
Look at all the damaged trucks.
I think every truck has some damage. And something else I want to point out real quick one more time here. We talked about Corey Heim already. As we look at the left side of the screen and laps since last pit, we're questioning if Corey Heim is going to have enough. There's 2 other trucks in there that we've got to question a lot right now. That's William Sawalich and Ty Majeski. And as you start going down through those trucks, we'll have to see if anybody decides that it's just time to throw a towel in, much like the last caution here, and the pits are open now. So we're going to have that answer pretty soon.
This is, we thought 30 laps was about what we could run, 32 at the most, but we've had a lot of cautions. As you see, Ty Majeski in that 98 truck, he pitted on the same lap Corey Heim did. He's given up the ghost, but he might have some damage there on the right front of that truck.
Trying to listen in on the 11 to see if they believe they can make it or if they're in trouble.
Well, remember, guys, we have the sunset rule here at Watkins Glen, any track where we run into the evening. And that means at a certain time of day, which is 8:05, the next time by they get the white, and then the next time by the checkered. And so if you hear these people start saying, is it 8:05 yet? It's not their curfew. They're just racing toward that sunset rule and making sure it's a safe environment to go back racing. And these teams might start, as we look at our watch, that's starting to get close.
And the sunset rule we have, it tracks obviously that we don't have lights, but I don't believe we've used it or had to in recent memory.
I don't believe we thought we were going to have to use it today either.
Yeah, hopefully not. That's only 2 months away from now. All right, let's listen to the 11 radio. What are they thinking?
And get it over with. I mean, what they're doing now. Well, they got a oh, I've got a line here. Angle 5, sorry, that's
Okay, so they're talking about what we're talking about.
Right.
But it's not just a shut-off time. He still has to run a lap.
How about all the things that Corey Heim has going through his mind now? He's got to make a perfect restart. He's running low on gas. He's wondering what time it is.
His brakes haven't been great.
And he's leading the race, doing Corey Heim things we've
Like
seen him do all year.
Corey.
Today, Michael.
Yeah, so, all right. Apparently NASCAR, which would have been in the driver's meeting, the shutoff time for the race, essentially 8:05. So at 8:05 Eastern, they'll get the white flag that next time by at the start-finish line. Sundown, I was looking on the Weather Channel app, was 8:17 locally at Watkins, Glen, New York, but apparently 8:05 is the set sunset time that we have seen this rule come into play at other tracks without lights in recent years in NASCAR. I will say they haven't stated anything over the broadcast until just now. I wish they would have stated something over the broadcast about the sunset time before 7 minutes before the sunset time. Because if we get another caution here, I don't think we're going to get another restart in. This is probably going to be it. And so the green flag is back in the air. We're back to racing. Corey Heim with a major block on the front stretch as he tries to hold back Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick will now slip to the outside entering the first turn. Not going to be able to hang with Corey Heim there. Heim overdrives the entrance to the corner. He might have went a little bit too far wide, and Hemrick is going to slip back underneath him into the S's. Big slide by Hemrick. Couldn't hold it down on the right side of the curbing, and Heim has the lead anyway. Christopher Bell rocketing his way back forward. Still might get a top 5 out of this. He battles past Sawalich very quickly. Dive bombs to the inside for 4th on Tyler Ankrum, and Bell is up to 4th place after pitting during the first overtime caution for fuel. He's got just 3 drivers left in front of him, but he is running out of time to try to catch the leader. Heim on fumes trying to make it to the end, as is pretty much everybody else that's in front of Christopher Bell. And Bell's wayward getting back through the field. Looks like he might have a little bit of damage on the left front fender. It's caused a bit of a tire rub. He's going to try to leg it out. 1 lap to go here at Watkins Glen. Heim leads by about a truck length and a half, if that, over Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick pulls out of line, kind of a bluff into the first turn. Back in line to angle his corner off. Ruggiero tightly behind the 19 as well. Ruggiero loses a little time out of turn 1 to the 2 trucks in front of him. Daniel Hemrick giving it all he's got. Only 1 career truck win came earlier this season. But he's hard charging after Heim out of the S's. Gains even more time on the 11. Hemrick looking low. Into the bus stop. He's going to drive it in pretty deep. Same for the 11. And Heim holds on for now. 3 corners to go as they get into turn 5 in the carousel. Hemrick wrapping the curbing on the bottom of the racetrack very well. Corey Heim still at power up off the exit of the corner. Can he hold on for 2 more turns? Hemrick trying to get close enough to maybe use the bumper. He gets into the 11. The 11 goes just a bit wide, and Hemrick slips to the outside as they head for turn 7. Final corner. Over-under move by Daniel Hemrick is not going to be enough, and Corey Heim will hold on and win at Watkins Glen. 3 overtimes. Somehow had enough gas in the end to hold off everybody behind. And what a charge late by Daniel Hemrick on that final restart. Really did give Corey Heim a run for his money. Heim wins it. Hemrick in 2nd. Ruggiero 3rd. Christopher Bell comes back to finish 4th. And Tyler Ankrum rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Sammy Smith in 6th. 7th for Ty Majeski. Connor Zilich 8th. 9th for Matt Mills. Lane Riggs will round out the top 10. An 11th place finish for William Sawalich. Wesley Slimp in 12th. Matt Kraft in 13th. Dawson Sutton 14th, and 15th was Jake Garcia. Connor Mosack 16th. Brent Cruz 17th. Spencer Boyd 18th. Derek White 19th, and Timmy Hill in 20th. Andres Perez 21st. Chris Buescher 22nd. Grant Enfinger 23rd. Looks like crossing the line there late. Chandler Smith 23rd. Then Grant Enfinger 24th. John Buffalmonte 25th. Ben Rhodes 26th. Frankie Muniz 27th. 28th for Tanner Gray. Tony Breidinger 29th. And Ross Chastain 30th. Parker Kligerman 31st. Raja Karut 32nd. Jack Wood 33rd. Caden Honeycutt 34th. William Lombros 35th. And Kyle Busch last in 36. A lot of DNFs today. Only 21 trucks finished on the lead lap of those that started the race. And I believe everybody from Enfinger on back, minus Buffalmante, had DNF. 12 drivers failed to make it to the finish. 3 overtimes. I don't know exactly how many laps we went past the scheduled distance, but we definitely went past it. And we did get a green flag finish in today's race. 9 cautions, 8 lead changes, 26 laps of caution in what was originally scheduled to be 72 laps. Corey Heim going to get the race win. He won stage 1, so 6 playoff points to add on to his total for the season. After having the regular season championship locked up after the most recent race at IRP. 60 playoff points on the year now for Corey Heim, with still 1 race left in the regular season next week at Richmond. 44 laps led today for Heim. He led the most laps in the race. He started on the pole. He was the truck to beat, and he was the one that was able to hold on and get the win. 0.2 of a second margin of victory. 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 53 seconds was our total time for this race. Other drivers to lead a lap, 1 for Daniel Hemrick, 2 for Gio Ruggiero, 30 for Christopher Bell, all of which in the final stage. Sammy Smith led for 1 lap. 3 for Ben Rhodes, who ended up winning stage 2 on pit strategy at that point as well. Here's your race winner, Corey Heim, on the front stretch at Watkins Glen.
The full sunset. It's been a long race. Took a long time to get there. But they persevered, didn't give up. Corey Heim gets the win, gets high fives all around for his team. He and Scott Zipadelli really have a dynamic situation. Such a great relationship. So successful together. And Amanda is there to hear from Heim time.
And make that 4 road course race wins for Corey Heim as he goes over to collect his checkered flag for his 17th career victory in the Truck Series. And Corey, I actually think this victory goes back to qualifying, which you would not quit with Christopher Bell, and you had to go out there and get that pole position. Then during the race, we talked about the higher-ups racing. In this race, you battled, your team kept you in the game. What proclamation does it say about Corey Heim?
Yeah, just never give up. You know, I got behind on that last stage. I was scratching and clawing, trying to get back through the field. I had my brakes pretty much go out completely on me on that long green flag run. I was beating them up, trying to get back through the field. Blew the bus stop, made a lot of mistakes myself, and I feel like I've had a lot of them get away from us this year by cautions or whatever else, failures, parts, whatever. But finally had one go our way and had some more opportunities to finish off. Should finish it off, and then a couple more at the end for good measure. So. Huge thank you to Tricon Garage. This Mobile One Tundra was phenomenal. Toyota, just everyone that's a big part of this. Trevor and Blake, they did a phenomenal job in my development. So just so many people to thank, so many people to keep impressing throughout the season. So big pictures is the championship this year, and that's what we're going for.
Corey, your team was on the wall, tapping their wrist for Heim time as they waited for you. Congratulations to Corey Heim.
6 wins and 17 races on the season for Heim. He's got 8 more to go. He can get to 20 career wins in the Truck Series by the end of the year. This is only his 3rd full-time season in trucks. Here's Daniel Hemrick with top 09 after finishing 2nd.
He did a really good job, and I really didn't, be honest with you. Having that much of a tire advantage, and just still thought we were going to be in the mix there, and I shallow managed too much when I got beside of them there off of 1 on the white flag lap. Got into the door, about lost it there, and didn't think I'd have a chance to get back to him, and then next thing you know I did, and I had a run to him down into 10 and drove in with open mind, and when he missed, and I was allowed me to get to the left of him, I thought I was going to have a shot, and I don't know, I just felt like he had such a bad angle into 11, I'm sorry, and I just thought I'd be able to turn underneath him with the tire advantage, and I was completely blown away by the amount of potential he still had. So, yeah, congrats to him and those guys. Wanted to get this night vision Silverado Victor Lane for Chevrolet, and everyone at Napa, Gates Hydraulics, and the folks that help us, South Point Coffee Bank. I'm gonna replay that last couple for for a while. I got what 6 days till next race. Yeah, this one will be on my mind till then, probably.
Daniel Hemrick brings it home second. That hurts, doesn't it, Regan? When
It does.
when you think you know exactly what you needed to do and you try to execute and you come up short.
All right, playoff standing outlook. They've got the graphic on FS1. I'll read it off for you. Obviously, the drivers locked in with the win would be Corey Heim, Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith, Tyler Anker, Daniel Hemrick, and Roger Caruth. The 4 drivers above the cutoff line and the amount of points they have over that said line has Grant Enfinger plus 91, plus 84 for Ty Majeski, Caden Honeycutt plus 65, Jake Garcia, last driver in still, plus 11. He came in plus 18. Ben Rhodes minus 11 with his DNF despite outscoring Garcia 15-0 in the stages. Gio Ruggiero minus 21. He came in minus 38, so big jump for him after getting a top 5 today, finished third. Tanner Gray minus 69, and then Mosak must win on back. Actually, Tanner Gray must win on back as well. You can only score 61 points in a full race. So Rhodes, Ruggiero will have a shot to point their way in at Richmond next week over Garcia. Again, minus 11 for Rhodes, minus 21 for Ruggiero. Garcia plus 11. Everybody else going to have to win. And the only reason that Enfinger, Majeski, Honeycutt are not locked in via points is just in case we get a winner below the cut line. Then that would put Honeycutt, the last driver, in. But pretty close. And actually, now that I'm looking at this here, Grant Enfinger is in on points. I don't know why it shows him not in on Fox's graphic. I'm doing the math here. He's got an 81-point cushion over 10th, which is what he would need to get in. So Enfinger is in. Ty Majeski mathematically is in because he's plus 73. And then Honeycutt is not, but depending on how many stage points he gets at Richmond next week, he can clinch his way in pretty early into the race. So Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski have locked in playoff spots on points today at Watkins Glen. Honeycutt, very, very close. He'd be plus 54 out of a possible 61 points that he can outscore. So he goes out there, he scores 6-7 stage points in stage 1 next weekend, or throughout the first 2 stages, scores 6 to 7 points. He'll be fine. All right, well, that was wild, to say the least, at Watkins Glen to kickstart our NASCAR race weekend here on KRC. We will have more live commentary coverage tomorrow, doubleheader on the channel. We'll have practice and qualifying for the Cup Series at noon Eastern, and we will have the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. As far as the Xfinity race, it will be 82 laps in length, 10 laps longer than what today's race was, although we probably ended up going about the same length with all the overtimes. We had 3 of them here for the truck race. But again, Xfinity tomorrow, Cup on Sunday. Cup race will start at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. All those start times are listed in the community tab. Congratulations again to Corey Heim getting his 6th win of the season, 17th of his career, 4th on a road course, and 4th consecutive on a road course nonetheless for Heim. Heim time yet again. And we'll see whose time it's going to be tomorrow. Maybe Connor Zilic, Shane Van Gisbergen. Should be a fun one. Head-to-head battle. Round 2. Rematch from Sonoma from about a month ago. Have a good night, everybody. See you back better than ever tomorrow at noon.